Offered to enjoy a great meal at Colonial Bar and Grill at Colonial Golf Club. But if you do want to enjoy a round, the greens are great. Only 5 minutes from Edmonton and Beaumont. Colonial Golf Club. For more details and to book, visit colonial.ca.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save on Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save on Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Recently, our company softball team lost a big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged, and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Sweet for Atlanta. Taste of October in late August.
On Sports 1440.
And that is pounded to right field. Way out of here. 1-0 Royals, 2 pitches into the top of the first.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Deep to right. This one is way back.
Spivak with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Hope you guys are all having a great day. The weather is beautiful, and we're just about there. Ready for the weekend. It's going to be a great sporting weekend, as per usual. Great weekend in the CFL coming up. Major League Baseball. Jays got one tonight against the Mariners, and then 2 games over the weekend. You can hear it all here on Sports 1440 on the AM feed. As always, the Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. The Lotto Max tonight. $10 million. Tomorrow, you got the Gold Ball jackpot, $20 million. Go check it out. Also, while you're there, check out the Jason Gregor Show specials. We're having some fun this weekend. Take some long shots. See what happens. Tonight, why not the Blue Jay Dream? Money line for the Jays against the Mariners and a Vlad Guerrero Jr. home run. It's a long shot. We know that. The way the season has gone. But maybe he ramps it up. And maybe it starts tonight. We've also got the NFL preseason. We're taking Vikings, Chiefs, and Cowboys to wrap up the preseason with wins and CFL over the weekend. a couple risky ones here. We're taking the Owls tonight. No surprise. Argos and BC Lions. Deck, I had to go against your Rough Riders. The injuries worry me. I'm not going to lie. But we'll see what happens. You can also get the year-long bet as well for the Edmonton Oilers to win the Pacific Division boosted. Check it out, playalberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. Lots to get to today on the program. Very busy show here as we roll through 6 o'clock. Starting off the show, we'll head out to Winnipeg and join Sean Reynolds of Sportsnet and Hockey Night in Canada. Get his thoughts on this Connor Halley fiasco. What's going on? Sounds like there's mutual respect on both sides. They tried to be civil to get this thing done, but it hasn't happened. Now we wait and see. It's public, and it's going to be interesting to see which team steps in, who can make that package, how much is it going to cost, and will it happen? We talked about it yesterday. I mean, they don't have to make this move. We could see who has the more patience and who holds out a little bit longer here. Does Connor Hellebuyck want to be moved so badly that he would sit out? We'll find out. It's going to be intriguing. Matt Barrett will drop by, the voice of the Edmonton Oil Kings. They got camp rolling yesterday, actually. Not open to public, but we'll get his thoughts on the team this upcoming season, who's returning, who are the new faces. Jason Smith, year 2, thought he did a good job in year 1. But, of course, the cycle of the WHL, they'll be hoping for bigger and better things in year 2. Wanye Gretz will come by at 3 o'clock. I don't think he's out at the Nation Network Golf Tournament, which I've seen some footage from. If you're not following us or DFO Edmonton on Instagram, you probably should. It looks like a really good time. Kind of having a little bit of FOMO for that one. Brian Diardo going to join us, talk some NFL football. He covers the league for CBS. Hopefully we'll have Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. He's a little under the weather, so if he doesn't send it in, we'll react and adapt. But hoping to get that in. We'll have the roundtable at 4 o'clock. At 4:20, the fantasy report. We'll talk some fantasy football as drafts really ramping up. I've got one tomorrow. I'll have another one on next Monday. And then the Frenzy has their draft on the following Tuesday. I'll give you more information about that in a second if anybody wants to get in on the league. But we'll also have 5 questions. Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, Alan Mitchell, Stats of the Day, Wanye's World. It's going to be a fun show here on Sports 1440. Thank you guys for joining us. However you are doing so, whether it might be on the AM dial, you're listening online, you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, or Twitch. If you're able, hit that like button, subscribe if you can. I did talk about it for just a second there. I do want to let you guys know, if you did want to get in on a fantasy football league, you have an opportunity to join the Frenzy League. It's something we've been doing every year on that show. Us, the champion, and then 10 people who will be drawn at random. $20 an entry. To get in on that, it's Connor at sports1440.ca. You can send an e-transfer. You can buy as many entries as you want, but only one team. So if you put in 5 entries and we select your name, the rest just get thrown out. So you'll only get a chance to have one team in there. Half the money will go to the winner. Half the money will go to the Canadian Cancer Society, as we'll raise some money for charity, as we like to do here at Sports 1440. The draw for that's going to be next Friday, 11:20 on the Frenzy. And then the draft will be the following Tuesday before the NFL season kicks off on Wednesday. You can also text in 1-833-401-1440 if you do have any questions about that. We can provide some info. Declan Kruger along for the ride today as well. Mr. Kruger, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty well. Pretty well.
Busy on the other side there?
Busy on the other side.
I'll let you get back to it. It is going to be a fun weekend in the CFL, as we had mentioned. The NFL is going to wrap up their preseason, which is good. I think we want to get to the real thing. Tonight in the CFL, Winnipeg hosting the Montreal Alouettes. The Owls, a loaded team. We know this. A chance to go 10-1. I don't know if it's still possible, but a few weeks ago we knew they could qualify for the playoffs by week 14. That's pretty incredible. The Bombers, big game for them. A lot of these teams actually in that situation that the Edmonton Elks were just a few weeks ago, where you wouldn't call it a must win. There's so much football still to be played, but it would be nice, if Montreal beats Winnipeg, Winnipeg falls to 5-6. All of a sudden, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Calgary, with the win, could jump up and tie Winnipeg as they take on Hamilton. A loss, they drop to 4-7. Not ideal. So for them, not a must win, but pretty close to it. They need to have 2 straight against the Edmonton Elks, which could be tough. Saskatchewan takes on Toronto. A win, all of a sudden you're 7-4. You're still feeling good. You're just a game back of the Edmonton Elks. But a loss, you're 6-5. Winnipeg could potentially catch up to you. BC could catch up to you. the following day as they're in Ottawa taking on the 0-10 Red Blacks. So for the Western Conference teams, Winnipeg, Calgary, Saskatchewan, BC, some big games. You want to stay in the hunt there. You don't want to fall too far behind Edmonton. The Eastern Conference teams will try to shake that up just a little bit here. I'm curious if there's going to be any bit of a bump from the Red Blacks for, all that has gone on. Jim Popp enters the building. It's in a role that really doesn't have that direct impact. It's not like the new head coach bump that we see time to time, but maybe there's something there if you're trying to hold out hope for the Ottawa Red Blacks. Some crazy stories that popped up today. I don't know if you guys had a chance to follow along with them at all. And I don't know, maybe maybe you guys talked with them on the Lowdown with Low Tide. Did you hear, Declan, about that Major League Baseball player who a couple years ago signed a deal with the Cleveland Guardians worth $2.8 million? His name was David Severino. Was that touched on? Have you heard the story?
No.
So a couple of years ago, David Severino signs a deal. He was a Dominican prospect, very young, They thought he was 13 or 14 years old. So this contract would be finalized in 2029 when he's 17 and eligible to sign. That was a lie. He was 16 years old. His real name was Dory David Severino Damaso. In 2023, his trainer created an identity. Didn't change much, just David. And his parents approved it. So they made a late filed birth registration of December 20th, 2011. They falsified medical and school records that were taken out in David's name. And from that point on, Dory became David. Then they filed a fraudulent death certificate for Dory, saying he died of respiratory illness May 5th, 2012, 2 years after he was born. A fake tombstone was created and planted in a gravesite in La Romana in the Dominican Republic, 75 miles from the capital, Santo Domingo. That is absolutely crazy. So the Guardians had been training with this guy, thinking he was 13, 14. Not the case. He was 16. So technically, he is eligible for the class of next year. With that, though, a suspension has come for lying. He will now have to enter the international amateur market and then become able to sign with someone. But it is ridiculous to think. This guy was competing against 12 and 13-year-olds. Should have been playing with 16 and 17-year-olds. So the scouts are saying, okay, but there's that difference. Barely hanging on. This is something that has happened before with these countries lying about the age to get that advantage. I mean, by the time they're 22, 23, it's all going to even out. So it might get you in the door, but there is a point where lying about it is going to, do you no good. And you risk getting caught. It's pretty crazy that someone out there, doing all these sorts of things. Now, Deck, my other story. Did you hear about Dejan Love?
I did. I had it in the update earlier,
Did
actually.
you?
Yeah.
The 35-year-old man was arrested by the FBI for running a romance and investment scam on dating apps, saying that he played for the San Francisco 49ers. Stole about $1.3 million from 26 women in California, Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. The scheme started 4 years ago. So this guy would hop on the apps here, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Facebook dating, which I did not know was a thing, pretending to be an NFL wide receiver or a real estate investor. Threw on a 49ers helmet, went out to the beach, ran some not very good routes, took pictures in the gear, did that sort of thing. Nothing in the facility, nothing with teammates, not on their website. But he ended up getting arrested a few days ago in Boise, Idaho, along with a younger guy, an 18-year-old. Mina Kimes, who's great covering the NFL, had a very funny post. She's like, not a good look for us ladies. Not a good look when Dejan Love convincing people that he's a 35-year-old receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. You got to be smarter than that, people. You have to see this and potentially go, check out the website, check out the roster, maybe look up a Wikipedia page, anything like that. Follow it up to see what's going on.
Well, dude, this is what I don't get about this. Why, like, so he's posing as the NFL receiver.
Yeah.
Why are they sending him money?
I don't know.
Like, that's what I don't. That's what I don't get about this whole scam.
Like, I'm curious what it would have been. Now, there was a lot of this, like, popping up on Facebook, right? The Vin Diesel one is my favorite. And it got, like, a woman in Calgary, I believe. Maybe it wasn't Calgary.
Well,
but he, like, said, hey, like, a fake account. We need money to finish filming the movie.
Yeah.
And someone sent her money.
Dude, but this is my other thing. Like, so it was 26 women? Is that what the number was? And it was $1.3 million.
Yeah.
I know it was 1.3. How many women was it?
26.
Dude, that's an average of like 50K per women. Like, that's not just chump change you have hanging around like, let me hold $1. Like, how do you I don't get it. I don't get how you run that scam. As posing as the NFL wide receiver. I don't get how you ask for the money.
I'm like, well, you put yourself in his shoes. Like, hey, well, yeah, I'm with you. I honestly have no idea. And if this guy was, saying his age, maybe he's lying about his age, rookie deal. I'm not making that much money. But to go out there and, have the cojones to give that a go is just ridiculous to me. But not shocking. I mean, in this society, people are lazy. People are scammers. They do what they do to find a way to get that cash. Well, it didn't pay off, Deck. Crime doesn't pay. Remember that, kids. It's not worth it. Coming up on the show today, as we mentioned, we will have Mark Spector, Alan Mitchell. We got hopefully Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, Brian Diardo, Wanye Gretz, Matt Barrett. But coming up next, we'll talk to Sean Reynolds, take a look at the Winnipeg Jets situation with Connor Hellebuyck, and so much more. Should be a fun show. Triple C in a truck says it's like Freddie Adu with USA Soccer back in the day. Did he lie about his age? I didn't know that was a thing.
I think there are a lot of athletes who lie about their age. Like, it was a big discussion point for Serge Ibaka, Ersan Ilyasova, just in NBA circles. So who knows?
Apparently for Freddie Adu, there's no proof. I mean, and you get it, right? Like I said, like at some point, lying about your age probably won't matter that much. But that being said, if you can be a college recruit, you're 18 and they think you're 16, like those 2 years, you've gone through puberty, you're a bigger person in all likelihood. Teams are all of a sudden looking at you as to being a little bit more of a guy you might want to have on the team. So Manute Bol might have been in his 40s or 50s when he entered the NBA.
I don't know if that's true.
That seems crazy.
Yeah, there's like more that goes into these guys just lying. Like, there's kind of like a bigger issue, if you will. But yeah, pretty crazy.
Rafael Furcal admitted in 2002 that he was actually 3 years older than his listed age. He lied about being 19 when he signed. Like, in those ages for a Major League Baseball player, if I'm 22 and I'm looking like that, they're like, okay, that's good. But I'm 19 and I look like this, all of a sudden, you become a lot more enticing. Danny Almonte from 2001, he was 14 years old playing the Little League World Series when you have to be 12 or under. It's like that. That's affecting the kids now. I don't like that sort of thing. But, hey, this is nothing new, especially in baseball where they're able to, I guess, smudge those numbers just a little bit. Makes guys more enticing, a more intriguing draft prospect or player you want to sign the contract with. I get it. I don't like it, but I suppose I get it. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we're talking Winnipeg Jets with Sean Reynolds of Sportsnet and Hockey Night in Canada. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Crispy, caramelized edges, a pillowy, airy center. Meet the new Papa John's Pan Pizza. Made with Parmesan and Romano cheeses, Papa John's special garlic sauce, and Italian seasoning, all baked directly into the bottom of the crust for a signature golden finish and crispy, savory crunch. Grab a medium pan pizza for just $16.99 today at your local Papa John's. Order now in the app or at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Need an excuse to upgrade your ride? Well, we got a few to share. Go Auto has over 18,000 new and used vehicles ready to test drive right now. With more than 70 locations, your perfect match could be closer than you think. A family-friendly SUV for soccer practice, a fuel-sipping commuter, or a hardworking truck that's ready for anything. Trusted brands and a team that's actually happy to help. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Showman for the games live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
Hi, I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. We've been tightening bolts and redefining our industry for 25 years. Yes, a quarter century, and we're just getting started. Check us out at cantork.com. Our tools age better than I do.
For all your welding supplies, think AWS Welding. Located in Nisku, their readily stocked storefront carries a wide variety of welding glasses, cylinder rentals, plus welding rod, wire, and consumables. Same-day delivery is always available. And if they don't have it, AWS Welding will find it for you fast. Visit their online store today at awswelding.ca or give them a call or text at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. They make it happen.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero-gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back. LeadingEdgePhysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
So how was your game?
Great game. Great game. Had a tough back 40.
You mean the back nine?
Yeah, that. Had this one hole with a wicked cat's paw.
Dog leg?
And I sharked it into the sandbox.
You shanked it into the sand trap. Sounds exciting.
It was.
You don't have to be a golfer to enjoy a great meal at Colonial Bar and Grill at Colonial Golf Club. If you do want to enjoy a round, the greens are great. Only 5 minutes from Edmonton and Beaumont. Colonial Golf Club. For more details and to book, visit colonial.ca.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Gregor special. Enjoy 20% off any regular menu price. And a promo code Gregor at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Lotto Max, an estimated $10 million. You can get your ticket at playalberta.ca. Connor Halley, John Kruger, Connor Spivak with you here in the Sports 1440 studios. You can always text us 1-833-401-1440. Right now, we are going to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. The most wanted menu items from around the world have landed in Canada. Now the McDonald's World Menu Heist at select restaurants hurrying before we have to give them back, only at McDonald's. So we're going to head out to Winnipeg and take a look at the Jets. We're just going to get our guests back. We might have just lost them, but we're going to be joined by Sean Reynolds of Sportsnet and Hockey Night in Canada, based in Winnipeg. Obviously, when we get back, We're going to dive into the big news for the Jets the last couple of days here. Obviously, Connor Hallebuyck requesting the trade out of Winnipeg, the team that selected him many moons ago out of Odessa, Texas. He's out of the team, but things happen, right? We've seen this throughout the NHL last few months here with, the one thing they have in common being members of that gold medal Olympic team for the United States. We bring in Sean Reynolds of Sportsnet and Hockey Night in Canada. Sean, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I really appreciate you doing this today. How's the summer been for you? I know we're going to be back in the rink in no time, but how's the summer gone for you?
It's been great. It's hot out here in Manitoba. We don't have the smoke that I was in Edmonton actually about a week back. I was surprised how much smoke there seemed to be from the mountains there. So we've been spared that, although we had it here in Manitoba last year. So you enjoy the smokeless years when they come. They seem to be few and far between now.
Oh, 100%. And hopefully that passes soon. And everyone affected by it, more than us, is doing okay. So, Sean, let's go through the timeline here a little bit. We know at some point during the season, there was a request. It was made privately by Connor Hallebuyck and his camp to be moved out of Winnipeg, but it came to light yesterday going public with this request. Had you heard about this coming up? Was there discussions in the media that maybe something was kind of cooking underneath?
Oh yeah, I mean this has been pretty obvious to us in the media here for a couple months here now. I think there are a lot of fans. Connor Hallebuyck is a beloved character in Winnipeg and in the Winnipeg Jets fan community. So I think that there was a real hope that maybe this was just smoke and not fire. Behind the scenes, you knew that this was happening. There was a little bit of a gray area there that Kevin Cheveldayoff had helped create. We'd pushed him a couple months back on whether or not a trade request had been made. He wouldn't answer that question. This, to me, was just Connor Hallebuyck and his camp wanting to pull back the curtain that the Jets were keeping closed. And I think that says a little something, that they had wanted to take this and put this in front of the fans and allow this to be, seen. The Jets have done a really good job in the past in these situations of keeping things under wraps and trying to stay, both positive and patient with these situations. To me, this is just Connor Hallebuyck's camp trying to, maybe take this in a little bit of a different direction and kind of use up some of the patience that maybe the Jets have been employing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think probably 28, 29 fan bases kind of perked up yesterday thinking, okay, you look good wearing our jersey. So what do you think the Jets are looking for in terms of a package to acquire Connor Hallebuyck?
Well, this is the big thing. They went out and they got Stuart Skinner around July 1st, and that was to kind of give them an insurance policy, and that was to allow them to kind of have flexibility in what they get back for Connor Hallebuyck. Now, they don't have to get a goaltender back. They've got that contract with Stuart Skinner structured in a way that if they do get another goalie back, that's fine. But if they don't, they've got a guy who's been an NHL starter who they can go with in the meantime. The big question for a team like the Winnipeg Jets, whose core is an older core. Mark Scheifele's 33 years old. Their captain, Adam Lowry, is 33 years old, is what you're looking for. And that's kind of the crux, the fork in the road that they find themselves at. Should they be rebuilding now, or should they be doubling down on a core that they have been doubling down on for a decade now? What we're seeing and what we're hearing from the organization is they continue to want to double down on that. So they're trying to make a right now trade to get the Winnipeg Jets back into the playoffs after missing last year, back looking more like the President's Trophy winning goaltender. It's a risk to take because Mark Scheifele had his best season of his career last year. He was unbelievable. But how long before that falls off? We saw with Blake Wheeler at 33 years old, he was one of the best players in the NHL. And by 35, 36, it was clear that the miles on that car had caught up with him. You're taking a pretty big risk if you're the Winnipeg Jets to try and win right now when you're a team that was out of the playoffs, has had very little playoff success with this core. To double down on them again, that is a bold statement. This could be a perfect time to rebuild. The Jets don't look like they want to do that.
Sean Reynolds joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Sean with Sportsnet as well as Hockey Night in Canada, based in Winnipeg. So how do you think it got to this point, Sean? Is it just, frustration with the team? Is it, the conspiracy theorists out there saying, well, Dylan Larkin and Brady Tkachuk, something happened with that U.S. Olympic team. What do you think got them to this point?
Well, I think it's a hodgepodge of everything. It is also a goaltender and a player who has long had a lot of belief in the Winnipeg Jets, who very much looks like that belief has run out. And I think it's kind of fueled by his play last season. So 2 years ago, the Winnipeg Jets were the best defensive team in the NHL. They were smothering. They were going, you could see the drop of the puck in the first period, covering that team. It was just like, they're going to win this night. And if they don't win, it's a fluke because they're just not letting the other team play with the puck. Behind that ferocious defense, Connor Hellebuyck wins a Hart Trophy because he's really not challenged for most of the season, right? Then you fast forward a year and the Winnipeg Jets lost 5 really fast players out of their lineup. That affected their ability to defend the way they had done so ferociously for the 2-3 years before that. And all of a sudden, Connor Hellebuyck got exposed a little bit. I don't think Connor Hellebuyck likes to be exposed. I think he likes to be thought of as that guy who's the Hart Trophy winner, and he got a taste of it. You mentioned that U.S. team. He got a taste of it behind a ferocious defensive U.S. team. And what did he look like? He once again looked like the best player in the world when he was behind that. To me, this is Connor Hellebuyck seeing that, losing the belief that the Winnipeg Jets are going to get back to being that ferociously defensive team. And now he's out there looking for that team that is more like the Winnipeg Jets of 2 years ago, more like the U.S. Olympic team in how solidly they defend, and get behind that and start looking again like the Hart Trophy winning / Vezina Trophy winning type of goaltender that he has been in the past.
So you mentioned looking for that type of team, and it's tough. I mean, the contract isn't that bad, really, at $8.5 million.
It's a great contract.
Yeah, and you got him for the future, so you're probably psyched about that one. Positional need. Now, teams would obviously have to play a certain style, and I think, he's probably going to want to go to a team where he has a chance to win in the next couple of years that has that cap space to take him on. They'll find a way if they need to, but is there any team around the league that you think stands out above the rest as a potential landing spot?
Well, the one that stood out most was Florida. And I think it's a great, so I'm talking about something that the book is closed on, but I think it's important to talk about what happened there and why it makes it difficult to make a trade. The Florida Panthers were the perfect landing spot for Connor Hellebuyck. The Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff is a guy who will make his demand and he won't waver from that. People who think that he's feeling pressure right now, that's not how Kevin Cheveldayoff works. And I've said this on a number of different programs over the last couple of days. Don't play chicken with Kevin Cheveldayoff because you'll end up in the ditch or in a head-on collision. He is not turning the wheel. He is going straight forward. But what that looks like in a case like the Florida Panthers is that you're trying to get a player like Anton Lundell in the deal, and the Florida Panthers wouldn't move. And so here's the trouble with where Winnipeg Jets fans find themselves. They're thinking, we've got a Hart Trophy caliber player. We should be getting a Hart Trophy caliber player in return. That's not the same as a guy like Connor McDavid or even Leon Draisaitl or Nikita Kucherov. Those guys, you can put them on any team and it radically changes that team. Goaltending is different. You plug him into your model, see what he looks like behind your team, and all of a sudden you say, well, yeah, we think Connor Hellebuyck is going to do this for us. But our model says that we get 3 less points this year if we get Jacob Markstrom and we don't have to give up Lundell. That's why it's tricky. That's why it's different, because we already know from this past season that Connor Hellebuyck behind a shaky defense is a pretty average goaltender. So now if you're a team that's going to get him and want him to be a difference maker, you got to think we have to have a solid defensive team that can make him look like what the Jets did 2 years ago or what the American team did to him there. And then the big question mark in all of this is the lack of production we've seen from Connor Hellebuyck in the playoffs. I'm going to put this into terms that your audience will understand greatly. I had the privilege of covering the Edmonton Oilers on their 2 cup runs. I covered them in the Western Conference Final twice and the Cup Final twice. Pick any of those series, any one of them, take your pick, and I will hold that series up against Connor Hellebuyck's entire body of work through the entirety of his playoff career. Stuart Skinner was better in that series than Connor Hellebuyck was in any playoff series he's ever played in. So having a player who's that good, but is that great in the regular season and hasn't really shown the endurance needed to be a playoff style goaltender creates a really big question mark. and makes it hard for a team to take that bet where they just throw whatever assets it takes to get that player into their organization.
We're talking Connor Hallebuyck and the Winnipeg Jets with Sean Reynolds of Sportsnet and Hockey Night in Canada. So, Sean, you mentioned it. Shovel day off, plays chicken. He's going to win. Let's say we get into the regular season. No move has been made. Are we seeing a situation, you think, where Connor Hallebuyck, kind of just puts his head down and works? Or are we seeing a holdout?
I wouldn't be surprised to see Connor Hellebuyck not show up to training camp. I would be surprised to see him not show up when the games start mattering. I don't think look, what's happening here is Connor Hellebuyck has watched over the years. He's been a Winnipeg Jet for a long time. He's very close with Kevin Cheveldayoff. He knows how he works, and he knows that Kevin Cheveldayoff is going to set a price, and he's gonna get that price. They do little things like this yesterday where they pull the curtain back to try and hold his feet to the fire a little bit. You can hold his feet to the fire all day. He's not moving. Connor Hellebuyck knows that, so he knows that at some point he's probably going to have to show up to camp if he wants to get paid, and I don't think he wants to be giving money away. I think at that point, if it got to that point, he knows that he'd be playing with the Jets, and it's not the Jets' way of not moving him. It's the Jets' way of saying, we're going to get what we want to get, and you're going to do better for yourself if you come back and play nice with the team until we can make that move. So just to reiterate or end where I started, I could see him holding out in training camp. I don't see it lasting into the season, nor do I see this situation lasting into the season.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be following you guys as long as it lasts here out in Edmonton. No, looking at this team, Stuart Skinner comes over, like you said. They signed Mario Ferraro and Noah Gregor, our regular host and nephew, so drop that one in there as well. Last year or the year before that last season, top in the Central. This year it falls off just a little bit here. It's very competitive. How are the Jets fans, the players, the team feeling about this team going into next season?
Well, the Jets team has to be optimistic if they're not shuttering the tent and trying to get future assets for Connor Hellebuyck. Because I think if that were the case, this trade would have been done a long time ago. If another team could have said, we want to be good right now, and we are good right now, and get the best goalie in the NHL behind us and see what that does, that would be done, because they'd be sending future prospects and things like that, because they're taking a run at it right now. The Winnipeg Jets are trying to move Connor Hellebuyck and address problems that they had in their lineup last year. Their ability to defend, their speed, their secondary scoring more than anything else. So they have to be optimistic if they are going to try and move that player to be good right now. There hasn't been a lot that's been done in the summer, though, to be quite honest, to be quite blunt, to make you feel like that's turning around. They get Stuart Skinner in here. If Connor Hellebuyck moves, this is, say what you want, it's going to be a downgrade in the crease if that ends up being the case. Mario Ferraro moves in on the back end. That's who else they picked up. They're going to that's a solid decor. But what we learned from that solid decor last year is that it doesn't matter if you can't stop the shots from the point, and if you can't stop players from that high tip and that high screen and taking your goaltender's eyes away, which was a huge problem for the Winnipeg Jets and Connor Hellebuyck last year. So the team, they're optimistic, maybe too optimistic, if you're looking at it from an outside perspective. I personally think, from what we've seen here, the Jets' glaring issues have not been addressed. They are waiting to see if they can address them by trading Connor Hellebuyck. But as it stands right now, if the season started tomorrow and nothing changed, I don't like their chances of being a top 3 team in the Central Division, especially when I see a team like the Utah Mammoth, who I just think are getting better and better. They're young. They've got a bunch of young guys trying to crack that roster. They're only getting better. The Central, I think the degree of difficulty is getting tougher in the Central, not easier, and that's not good news for the Jets.
Totally agree with you on that one. Sean, before we let you go here, you mentioned you've covered the Oilers a little bit. What have you thought of the offseason with the new head coach, the shakeup in the goalie room? They move on from Darnell Nurse. You think it's enough to win the Pacific this year?
I'm fascinated by the moves they made, and the big giant question there is, it going to work with Mike Babcock? I'm going to guess you were surprised when you heard it at first, when the first, not when he was hired, but when the rumbling started that this was an option. I think a lot of people were surprised. I was one of them. Everyone who I've talked to in Edmonton seemed surprised by that. regardless, what you've got is a team full of guys who seem to have bought into the idea that they need more accountability and that there's a guy out there who's going to get that out of them. I'm fascinated to see what the Edmonton Oilers look like if they are able to create that much more accountability. I think that they found that when they took their first run to the Stanley Cup. And just were youth and inexperience. They fell down 3 games. I think that doesn't happen. They win that. They weren't winning the second time around, and there was a lack of commitment from what I saw in how they performed their second go around against the Florida Panthers. So to me, it just all hinges on that. I'm fascinated to see it. What you do have are 2 leaders who are committed to looking at themselves in the mirror. I always think that that's a good thing. So if there are ways and they're open to trying the different things that could get them there, I think there's a lot of juice to be squeezed in the Edmonton Oilers orange, and enough that if they can get themselves in a good spot in the in the playoff race, that they can address things towards the trade deadline and take another run at it. I do think winning the Pacific is inconsequential. This Oilers team is one of those teams that you just got to get over that playoff line, and once you get there, if you get the right things that you need, they're always extremely dangerous. When you have 2 of, in my mind, the top 3 hockey players in the world on your roster, that can do a lot of things. So for me, I'm just looking to see if they get over that playoff line, and if they do, look out. It's anyone's ball game at that point.
Yeah, whatever happens, we're going to have plenty of storylines here in Oil Country. Sean, great stuff. Thanks for this, and we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Connor.
There you go. Sean Reynolds, based out of Winnipeg with Sportsnet and Hockey Night in Canada. Great to have him on. Give him a follow on X at SN Sean Reynolds. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little Edmonton Oil Kings with the voice of the team, Matt Barrett. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Center. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Center has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operations. At EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
At GS Construction, we won't quit until we find a way to get the job done. And the right person makes all the difference. We're looking for our next superintendent, an experienced leader ready to take on the role. Because while GS Construction is building the water, sewage, and drainage systems Edmonton communities rely on, the superintendent is building up the team. If you know how to keep a job site safe, productive, and moving, we want to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
The Chicken Parmy Burger, McExtreme pulled pork, garlic and black pepper chicken McNuggets, cheesy bacon McFlavor fries, and the Stroop Waffle McFlurry. You've scrolled them, you've screenshotted them, you've never been able to order them until now. This is the McDonald's World Menu Heist. The most wanted menu items taken from around the world, now in Canada. Get them while you can. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
1 in 3 Canadians aren't getting enough sleep. Let the Brick help you sleep better for less. Save 40% on the Sealy Crown Jewel Resort mattress. Get cheap starting at just $49. And buy 1 pillow, get the second one for just $10. Plus, take up to 55 months to pay with no interest and no money down. And with next day delivery in Edmonton, you can start sleeping better right away. Some conditions apply. OAC. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think,
"Wow, great hair transplant."
I want them to think,
"Wow, great hair."
Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
2:43. Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight's Lotto Max, $10 million tomorrow. You got the Gold Ball jackpot, an estimated $20 million, plus the Jason Gregor Show specials, boosted as always. Remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Connor Spivak, with you here in the Sports 1440 studios. Positive Friday edition of the Jason Gregor Show. We are now going to go in the room. Brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in projects, service, TAG, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net as we are joined by the voice of the Edmonton Oil Kings, Matt Barrett. Matt, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Connor. Good to chat. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Same to you. Good to have you back on the show. How's the summer gone for you so far?
It's been great. Got to travel a little bit and didn't golf as much as I would have liked, but do we ever? But yeah, so it was good. It's good to be back in the rink, and the weather's still nice outside, but it certainly feels like hockey's ramping up, so that's positive.
So you guys kicked off training camp yesterday. Not open to the public yet or anything like that, but we're a week away from preseason action. The regular season's going to be here in no time, and year 2 under Jason Smith. I think a lot of people are fired up after the way last season ended in the first round of the playoffs. So let's start with the returning players. Who are you excited to be calling once again once the season gets going here?
Yeah, and once I was looking at the training camp roster, I saw, I think, 12 players from last year's team or last year's playoff roster that are back this year. So that's, about half, I guess you could say, which is probably pretty good. And, you look at a guy like Aaron Obabaifo, who came in right around the trade deadline, and I think he's going to be tremendous this year. The biggest thing for him is staying healthy, staying on the ice. And if he is an electrifying player out there with speed to burn, and he can shoot the puck. Caden Strader has, I think, maybe had a little bit of a surge at the Hellebuyck Gretzky Cup and kind of showed that he deserves to, get the recognition to possibly be, called early this year in the NHL draft. When you return 2 netminders in Ethan Simcoe and Parker Snell, you've got to be pretty happy, especially the way both of them played in the playoffs and during the season. So those are just, a couple of the guys that are back this year. And I look on the blue line, and Josh Lee and Noah Tamu, who had in their 18-year-old seasons, but their 3rd years in the WHL. So you look to take another step with those guys too. And you just go down the list, lots of depth, lots of new faces this year. But I think a lot of the returnees are set to take another step or have already, been key cogs to this roster last year and in previous years.
One of the things people always kind of check in on is, especially with the road teams coming into town, like, okay, what's their NHL club affiliation? Now, how many players do they have drafted? How many current Oil Kings are a part of NHL franchises now?
Okay, so Parker Snell got drafted by Columbus. KJ Sauer, who's newly signed this year, he's the Philadelphia Flyers prospect, and then Noah Tamu is part of the Winnipeg Jets after he was drafted in the 7th round this past year. That's it for right now. So there's obviously still some NHL pedigree there. You have a netminder that's NHL drafted. I think he should have went earlier, but that's maybe my bias. And KJ Sauer, and watching him play, he's a big body, can kind of play center wing, probably can play 2 ways. Really excited to see what he can bring to the WHL. So, and Noah's obviously a big, hulking defender that moves really well. He's moving really well at camp this year. So, when you got guys with that kind of pedigree, it'll be exciting to see.
Now, when it comes to new faces, who are some players that fans can look out for?
Well, I mentioned KJ Sauer, but you look at the 2 Europeans and the import players, and Jonas Vanacek and Ollie Walrus, 2 forwards that were highly touted coming out of their countries. And Jonas Vanacek, draft eligible this year, really has had a good Hellebuyck Gretzky Cup. So excited to see what he can bring to the WHL. Forward with some offensive ability, and Ollie Walrus is a guy who can kind of play 2 ways and really responsible, and had some good years in Finland there with TPS. So those are 2 of the new faces I'm looking at. And there's a bunch of 17-year-olds that are 16-year-olds that are looking to make their mark and kind of make this team right out of camp. And Cole Landreville, who was drafted a couple of years ago, Chris Kokoris, who was drafted a couple of years ago, and then a couple guys who got signed, and Johnny Bladow and Tyler Potter are also looking to make, the team as well, among others. So there's a lot of new names that I think fans, may not recognize right away, but I think they're going to really love a lot of these guys when they see them play for the first time.
The voice of the Edmonton Oil Kings, Matt Barrett, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Oil Kings camp underway, preseason next week in the regular season, shortly to follow after that. So there were some changes this offseason as general manager Kurt Hill, hired by the Oilers as AGM of player procurement. That meant a vacancy with the Oil Kings, and Michael Chan was the hire. What have you seen from Michael so far here? And I know it's only been a few months, but what have you seen from him?
Yeah, he wasn't afraid to make a move when we brought in Dylan Ronald, who was a veteran in this league and played in Brandon. So it's kind of his big trade to start the year. And he's obviously been around this team for the better part of a decade, basically, in some form. So it's not like this is anything new to him. And obviously he's been working really closely with Kurt over the last few years. So not really much of a transition period for this group under Michael Chan. And I'm excited to see maybe some more moves that he makes come the season. If he feels like he needs to tinker a little bit, that'll be kind of the interesting part to see, how he kind of makes his moves and does his business come the season, maybe come the trade deadline when the pressure's on.
Now, not the only Oil King to get the call up to the big club. Rogan Dean, after being the Mr. Oil King with the equipment manager, he joins the Oilers. What big loss for the Oil Kings. I think maybe a lot of people that aren't in the room or around this corner or around the scene maybe don't know, maybe not knowing how big of a deal the equipment manager is. And I mean, he was as good as they get.
But it's funny, you sometimes thinking they're like, oh, okay, we got to get this done for camp. They're like, oh no, that was something Rogan used to do, or there's a lot of like different things that kind of pop up and you're like, wait, who did this before? But no, I mean, Rogan meant so much to this organization for almost 2 decades, and he was tremendous. He's been tremendous for this group and just instilling a culture, I think, in the room. And he's the only day one employee, and it definitely showed. And he was definitely around kind of getting the new equipment manager and Matt McDougall set up. And we still see him around the rink a fair bit. He comes by and says hi. So it's not like he is completely gone. That's for sure. We're still going to see him, and it'll be good that he's around.
Yeah, I should say, I think Edmonton fans know the power of the equipment manager with Dwayne Van in the Edmonton Elks. So I shouldn't maybe say that for sure. Now, Jason Smith entering year 2 as the head coach. Obviously, last year probably would have loved to see a little bit more of an extended playoff run. It was a great first-round series. What are you expecting out of this team under Jason Smith? And what are they trying to grow on and expand off of?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that now Jason's got another year, and he's got, all those guys that are coming back who have already played under his system and kind of know what to expect. So it's not like there's going to be a new sort of, transition in terms of learning a new style, learning a new system, how they want to play. These leaders are going to have to get the younger guys and all these new faces set up and get them ready to play the system, play hard, play fast. And they really want to move the puck and transition it quickly, get out of their own zone, get into the O zone, and, use their skill, because I do think there's a lot of skill on this hockey team. And, Parker Snell and Ethan Simcoe will make a couple saves for them here and there, and hopefully they score a lot of goals. And I think the biggest thing, you look at the staff, it's Jason Smith, Devin Prott, and Kyle Chipchura. There's a lot of pedigree in terms of coaching and playing as well on that coaching staff. So, it's a team effort in that room for sure. And they're looking to build again. And 45 wins will be hard to build off of, but you definitely know that's in their sights.
Matt Barrett, the voice of the Edmonton Oil Kings, joining us here. So around the WHL, maybe in the Eastern Conference, teams that Oilers or Oil Kings fans will see quite a bit. Who are you watching out for to be real competitors here?
Man, the Eastern Conference is a bit of a mystery right now. It's when I talk to people, they're like, well, I think this team, then I think that you're getting a lot of different answers. I think one team we should look at is Regina out east. Obviously, Maddox Schultz and Liam Pugh, they look to be taking a new step or a next step in their development. Medicine Hat's still going to be really good. They've got the Ruck twins and Schaefer Gordon Carroll, who is probably going to be a first-round pick this year. So they aren't going to go away quietly. Lethbridge is going to be improved. We'll see by how much. Red Deer's got a new coach. Calgary always seems to be around in some aspect. So the Central Division for sure is going to be competitive. It's hard to, handicap who's going to be kind of the top team to kick off the year. And in the East, I think Regina's probably kind of that one team. Prince Albert will always be good as well. And you look at a team like Moose Jaw, who's probably going to take another step forward as well. So the Eastern Conference, I think, isn't as clear cut as maybe it has been in the past couple of years.
Matt, one of my favorite things about junior hockey and the Edmonton Oil Kings would be the promotional schedule. Of course, Teddy Bear Toss Night is always a whole lot of fun, but I'm scrolling through here. Halloween Spectacular, I kind of like that. Mullet Mayhem got me intrigued. Any of the theme nights you're looking forward to?
Honestly, this may sound crazy. Finger Puppet Friday is one we talked about for a little while. It's going to be, you're going to get, finger puppets with a bunch of Oil Kings on that you can put on your hands. So I think that's going to be super interesting. I don't know if any other team has done something like that. That's always fun. Obviously, I always love Teddy Bear Toss, and that's one of my favorite games on the schedule. And, I love Country Night too. That, it might sound crazy. It's simple, but Country Night's awesome. I love hearing all the country music banging through the speakers all game long. So Guy Flaming, my color guy, is maybe not as a fan of country music. So when he sees me dancing, he probably shakes his head a little bit at me. But I love it.
Well, we just got to get Guy a hat, maybe a bolo tie, and I'm sure he might have that in the closet somewhere. And
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff going on here. Of course, the specials for food. Wiener Wednesday. I see Taco Tuesday here on the menu.
Heck yeah.
That's something I might be looking at for sure. How's the prep going for you? Because I know a lot of teams, obviously new faces entering the league every year, players graduating. How's the prep going for the upcoming season?
Yeah, it's great. I'm excited to get back and put a headset on and call some hockey in a few weeks. And I'm sure the week of I'll probably get a little panicked and be like, oh my gosh, I'm not quite prepared yet. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And getting to know all these players now is always an exciting time, and kind of learning their stories is some of my favorite things about this business is being able to learn about these kids and their path to this point and then following them afterwards. So that's something I'm always looking forward to.
And man, they're making you guys do the American trip right after Christmas, eh?
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna, headed right there for New Year's as well. So hopefully the weather's nice out in the Pacific Northwest during that time, and here it might be -40. So we'll see. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Might be a great escape. Well, Matt, thanks so much for doing this today. We'll get you back on when the regular season starts rolling here.
Yeah, I should mention one more thing. Red-white game on Sunday. Locker room sale as well, open to the public, 11 a.m. This is the best prices you're going to get for any apparel and gear for the Oil Kings. So 12 noon is puck drop for the game, 11 a.m. for the locker room sale. But appreciate it, Connor. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for getting that in there. We'll talk to you later.
You betcha.
There you go. Matt Barrett, voice of the Edmonton Oil Kings, joining us here on the show. And yeah, I was just looking because every 2 years you make that American trip down south. So they play in Red Deer to wrap up the first half of the season unofficially. And then they're back in action Sunday the 27th. So that means you're leaving the 26th. I wonder if they can just fly down to Everett, maybe meet down there. They got Everett, Seattle, Portland, Tri-City, Spokane, Wenatchee, Red Deer. So that is a bit of a roadie. 2 weeks on the road, but from November 25th to December 8th, they're at home. So there's a little bit of a balance there. They also the 18th of October to the 8th of November. So a few long road homestands in there with a couple road trips as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Always love getting down, checking out the Oil Kings games. The theme nights are great. The prices affordable. Food as well. Don't have to be a kid to get the kids menu. That's a perk. So hopefully you guys will go check those games out this year as well. Right now, we'll take a break. When we come back, we should be joined by our co-host from Daily Faceoff Edmonton, Wanye Gretz. But first, we'll get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. Shop over 17,000 vehicles at goauto.ca with 31 vehicle brands and 73 locations to choose from. Find your car at goauto.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
MLB scores right now. One game in the middle of the eighth sees the Reds leading the Cubs 9-4. Next on the dock, we'll see the Dodgers and Tigers at 4:40, and of course the Toronto Blue Jays in action at 5:15, playing host to the Mariners. Dylan Cease on the bump in that one. NFL preseason tonight will get going at 4 o'clock with the Commanders and the Ravens. The late game, we'll see the Vikings and the Broncos at 7. Toronto Tempo in action in the WNBA as they take on the Las Vegas Aces. 8 p.m. tip for that one out in Vegas. Some strange news out of the sporting world today as federal authorities have arrested and charged two men, one of whom repeatedly posed as a San Francisco 49ers player for defrauding more than 24 women out of $1.3 million. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office in the District of Oregon and court documents, the FBI arrested Dejan Love, age 35, and Taylor Jamie Chan, age 18, 4 days ago in Boise, Idaho, and charged the duo with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and wire fraud. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Cheers. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen as we roll out the Sports Talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
I missed one payment, then another. Now I feel behind on everything. I can't keep up.
Falling behind happens to more people than you think, but there is a solution. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. Together, we can create a plan that fits your situation and helps you get caught up and back in control. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Any project, big or small, when you need metal cut to your exact measurements fast, count on Metal Supermarkets, a warehouse bursting at the seams with inventory, plus metal bending, drilling, punching, notching, plasma cutting, welding, even delivery. Endless possibilities. Now imagine what they can do for you.
How about a garage shelf?
Think bigger, my friend.
2 garage shelves?
There you go.
I live on the edge.
The local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Are you sure? Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. The Lotto Max tonight, $10 million. Saturday's Gold Ball Jackpot, $20 million. And if you head over the sports section, you can check out the Jason Gregor Show daily specials. We got a little CFL parlay action over the weekend, some NFL preseason, Vikings, Chiefs, and Cowboys, and the Blue Jay Dream. Jay's money line, Vlad home run. It could happen. It could happen. He's got to hit one eventually. Why not tonight? PlayAlberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Connor Spivak with you here. We bring in our good friend, co-host, loving father, podcaster,
marvelous
entrepreneur,
classic
philanthropist, Wanye Gretz of Daily Faceoff Edmonton, Oilers Nation. My bad. I've been so on the ball about not saying the wrong thing, I realized that I said the wrong thing to you.
I can't ask you to break the law. You can call me Wanye from Daily Faceoff Edmonton. That doesn't bother me in the least.
Okay, well, we'll switch it up a little bit here. Wanye, you're not out at the golf tournament today? What's going on? I half expected you not to come today.
No, I said, paradoxically, I have something more Oilers related to do than go to this tournament. They need me at 1440 for that levity on a Friday afternoon.
It's true. The tournament does look very fun, though.
It's super fun.
I'm looking at like the videos. Sports 1440 has a whole. We've got Mackenzie and Chloe down there running the show. Looks like a good time. Everyone's pushing booze on you. We've got some waters and Gatorades, maybe some hats.
I don't know what I'm allowed to say on the air, but there's a lot of booze at this tournament.
I could tell.
And that's good. It's the most beautiful day.
Everyone's getting home safe.
Everyone's Ubering. All the Ubers were showing up this morning. That's not a worry. It's a beautiful day though, like at 30 degrees, whatever. I don't know what the actual temperature is. It felt like 30.
I left yesterday. It was 29, I believe. Went for my run last night. I'm trying to be.
What's going
active.
on?
Just trying to be more active.
Okay.
Trying to be like young Deck over there. Guy's in great shape. Anyways, one side of the sky was I don't even know what it is with the moon. Some sort of eclipse. The other side was a heck of a storm. It was great vibes outside last night, cooled down a little bit. But you're right, like today, probably pretty warm. It looks hot out from our little window that they gave us here.
You want to get jacked like young Declan?
Yeah.
3 words. Illegal Soviet steroids.
That's what it is, eh?
You.
Oh, no, I don't. I mean, I want to do it the right way.
No. Do it the quick way. Cut corners. Do it the Soviet Olympic era way.
What is the drug that was originally prescribed to people with diabetes? Ozempic.
Right, insulin.
Could I take that route maybe? Or
no. You want massive muscles, don't you?
I just, cut a little bit.
You don't need to like slim down. You need to like add 80 pounds of like absolutely chemically impossible muscle to your frame.
That would work too.
It'd be cool.
It would. For how long though?
Remember Barry Bonds?
We do.
Remember his rookie card?
He's popped up quite a bit lately.
Well,
about him.
True. But remember how like jacked he was at the peak of things?
Yeah, he was shredded.
You could do that.
Big head too. But there's no payoff for me. I'm not going to be the all-time home run hitter.
But you could like eat chicken strips at work and like drink mysterious things in those containers.
And like mock people for being smaller than me.
Have a fanny pack.
I could do that. I could do that without the Russian Soviet steroids.
No, Russia. No, we got to go old school when they could get things done.
No, I'll consider it. All I'm saying is beautiful weather last night. Carried over today, I think. Wanye, some things have happened for the Oilers in the last little while here.
Yeah.
Misha Donskov brought in. Only going to be in Edmonton for a certain amount of time, but he's won a cup as an assistant coach. He's been a part of Hockey Canada. When I look at him, I'm like, this guy's just a hockey lifer.
What does that mean? Explain to me what he's only going to be here for a certain amount of time.
Well, I don't really know. Like, I'm curious because the Elks have coaching analyst Rick Campbell, former head coach in the CFL. He told us, I believe it'd be like kind of cutting up film, looking at trends, things of that sort. How can you help the team? I'm wondering if Donskov has that role with the Oilers, where it's like he's in, let's just say, Toronto. He's looking at film, trying to like analyze things, break things down, offer some suggestions, but then, does his other job with Hockey Canada at the same time. It's interesting to have someone doing both those roles.
I find these types of roles very opaque. I don't really understand what a vice president of professional hockey ops and analytics does for a living. I'm sure it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, like, how many people work in head offices of a typical team now? Like, it's in the hundreds.
It's got to be a lot. Some team more than others, obviously. To me, like, it just feels like it's a great hire because it's bringing in another hockey mind.
Totally.
And I would imagine with the resume that he has, like, I'll talk to Babs. I'll tell him what I think. I don't care. That's the common goal, of course. But it feels like it's just a good move to have another hockey nerd in the room.
That's why I was interested to hear why it's not supposed to be for a long time. I thought this maybe would be like another backup coach.
Well, I'm wondering now, like, if it works out as the heart wants what the heart wants. Maybe at one point it's like, you know what, Hockey Canada, loved it. I have an opportunity in Edmonton full time here. I'm going to go take it. Or goes the other way, right? Didn't love that. Wasn't as great as I thought it would be. Going to fade back to Hockey Canada. I could see it going potentially either way, or maybe it stays the same. But I like the hire. I think he's a good hockey mind, and we'll see what the dividends is down the road. But they're doing things that are encouraging to me.
There's a lot going on at the coaching staff. I still can't get my head wrapped around the fact that DJ Smith is not an actual DJ.
You thought he was well, how do you know that?
I thought this was going to be awesome. They hired a DJ.
Yeah, good for vibes in the room, maybe.
It'll be unbelievable. It's so progressive. And they're like, not an actual DJ. That's his name.
Well, he's pretty cool, too, though. He might DJ.
You should.
Maybe he'll pick it up.
Be unreal.
He's tuning in right now. What do you think with the injuries? Matthew Savoy, Freddie Anderson being the big ones. Janmark, you look at DFO, didn't even have him in the lineup there. I think we expected this. But for Matthew Savoy, this is a big one. Freddie Anderson, we don't know.
Right.
But Rashog had it out there kind of like right as we went off air a couple of days ago. Those guys could be out till October. Like Stan Bowman says he's not overly worried about it, but it's not great. I mean, you kind of had hoped that this would be the year that he could hop into that sixth or top six role and really start to evolve his game. Missing camp isn't great. For Anderson, I mean, if you're Devin Levi and Tristan Jarry, well, saddle up, get ready to go here. It's on you guys for the first month potentially of the season.
It's an interesting 3-horse race with the goaltending this year. So anybody being taken off the board, like there's somebody conceivably who could take your spot.
Totally. And you know what? Like this is the one, and I heard Gazzola talking about it a couple of days ago, kind of like everyone just said with Freddie Anderson, well, we expect him to get hurt. And is that okay? I guess on the plus side, you paid him $1 million. It's not a big contract. So it's not ideal for sure, but in the perfect world, Devin Levi and Tristan Jarry knock it out of the park to start the season. There's no rush to get him back. You're just like, okay, take your time. When we need you, your spot is there, but we're not going to rush this.
Totally. And we're not like desperate that somebody return.
Yeah, 100%. Same with Savoy.
I want to know what's wrong with my boy, though.
Well, maybe we'll never know.
Ever?
Maybe.
How does that work? Isn't there like a constitutional requirement to tell us minimum lower body
Upper
industry?
body, lower body, yeah. Concussion, it's upper body.
Yeah.
When a guy can barely skate off the ice. Damn. Yeah, well, maybe we'll find out a little bit. We had people saying, hey, and this is just online. I saw him walking around, looked fine. So that kind of maybe eases some stress, but we know walking around isn't playing a game in the NHL.
The season is long. And if you believe that Matt Savoy has a lot of upside, which I'm sure the Oilers do, you don't need him coming into the season nursing an injury. Give him 2 weeks. Who cares?
100%. 100%.
Gives us something to talk about on August 28th.
Farm team texted in, Dodskov will get the phones instead of Babs. Oh, maybe that will work.
I kind of feel like all these coaching staff are being brought in to like show that the organization's throwing every available resource at a cup. And having like an abundance of hockey minds like this coming to the table for a fresh perspective. It's not like one guy coming. It's like 3 and one's a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
You've got, like it would be an awesome experience to sit in a room with them talking hockey. And like, okay, well, even if you are like the head coach, you're making the final decision, and you're a little bit stubborn. Even if that guy just says something to maybe have you look at it just a little differently. Like, okay, I get what you're saying. Like, don't necessarily agree, but at least I can take that input and maybe on the bench put it into action if we're like desperate or something, right? Like little things that can just maybe have you look at things a little differently. I think that's huge.
Like, shocking, I'm not privy to what a dressing room is like in a high-level hockey team. I don't understand at this level, like, when they get together and the big minds have a meeting, is one guy like, we should get pucks deep, and the other guy's like, no, don't get pucks deep. Like, what's the tactical strategy conversations that they would differ on? Getting pucks deep?
Probably not. I mean, probably maybe like defensive in your own end, who's marking up who, what the plan might be. I don't know. Like, we've talked to Strutty about that. And that's when I always laughed when we would talk about goals and post game. Like, who's that falter? Connor, what do you think? I'd be like, Strutty, don't ask me. You played in the NHL. You can big dog me here. Like, you tell me what went wrong there. I mean, I think there's different systems, and I think they're going to implement what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. But at the same time, for me, I think it's just like desire. Because how many times did we just see, on the back check, maybe taking the play off? I think the new coaching staff, and I hope when they see that, there's consequences. Like, you can't be out there and take a play off. You heard us. Sit down for a shift. And, I think sometimes that's enough. Maybe it's a little bit more. Enough times that's going to lead to a benching. Enough times, who knows, if you're a fringe player and you're doing that stuff, I mean, that's unacceptable to start with, but maybe it leads to something else. So, yeah, I really don't know how much would change tactically with them all just hanging out, talking shop.
You know what I'd like to see from the new coaching staff?
A
trick play.
Like what?
Like in Mighty Ducks. Remember they did the V? Remember the coach like drew it up in practice and rolled it out mid-game?
Flying V.
When's the last time you saw a trick play?
I mean, no, you don't see it often, do you?
The Michigan.
Yeah, you don't want to do that too many times, though.
That's not team sanctioned.
No. Mighty Ducks also had a guy get into goalie gear on the bench somehow without the other team noticing. So as much as I love that movie, I don't know if we can follow those strategies too often.
I'd be interested. Like, I watch the Oilers Plus content, but they never really like tip their hand. Like, I can understand what you're doing when you're reviewing game footage.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what we did here. We need to do that. We need to do this. But like on the strategy side, on like implementing different systems, is it like defensive zone coverage, how far you get to go over? Is it like how far you get to cheat in the offensive zone? Like,
probably more specific with certain players, especially on like the penalty kill. Hey, like, you got to get closer to the shooter here, things of that sort to make sure you're taking away the passing lane. I don't think a film session in the NHL is anything like the NFL, like in terms of length, with everything you're breaking down. NFL teams, we talk about how they break down every single play and they go through it. Mike McDaniel, when the Chargers hired him, he broke out down every Justin Herbert throw. The guy's been in the league since 2020. Like, that's crazy to me. In the NHL, we hear it's like 10, 15 minutes, work on this sort of thing, coaching as we go.
Is that because in the NFL, it happens so fast? You don't have a clue what happened if you're on the other side of the field?
Well, and it's stop and go, right? Like, you can just say, okay, this is like a run play. You can show 25 different examples. In an NHL, how many 2-on-1s are there? Or a couple a game, and, you could probably coach that individually on the bench. This is what I want you to do. We don't have to take it to film in front of the whole team. But, yeah, I would love to sit in a film session in the NHL and the CFL. If the teams are listening and are okay with me doing it, I'll sign like a non-disclosure or whatever.
Would you abide by it?
Hell yeah.
All right now.
I'm a man of my word.
Okay.
Man, we have two things, right?
Our word and our
eyes.
Right.
I would just be like, oh yeah, it was very informative. But I don't think, especially in football, I don't think they would ever let you. There's too much paranoia there.
I'm like, has anyone thought about getting pucks deep?
Yeah.
And then there's just like rousing applause. You did it, Wanye. You cracked the code.
We never thought about that.
Let's get the pucks deep. All the players are chanting.
We've said it, but what does it mean? What does it really mean? Brad says the McDavid power play drop back is probably the most recent major play development in the NHL as of late. Now everyone does it. I mean, why wouldn't you? If you have a player of that capability to drop it back the red line and just let him rip through. I like when Connor McDavid puts his head down and just takes it to the net 1-on-4. Like, it keeps them on their toes because you have to, as a defenseman, think like, okay, if I go to pinch on him, he might walk right around me, you know? I like that he does that. Kyle says they've been doing that for years. Well, I mean, and that's kind of, I think, Brad's point. It's like not much has changed in terms of strategy in hockey. There's only so much you can do. In NFL, you can really get after it. You do some wild stuff.
Like, how much coaching does Connor actually need? Be like, hey, go be the greatest modern day player. And Leon, you too.
Probably not much, but I think when they do slack, they probably realize at this point, like, we need to be punished. Like, we can't just be like, okay, you're the best, you can do that. Like, there was a point like a couple years ago when Leon was taking some penalties, and I think it ended up costing him. He had to sit for a bit. He cleaned it up. Like, just that reminder, we can't be doing that sort of thing. Reckless passes maybe through the slot, can't be doing that. But really, yeah, you're right. At the end of the day, like, how much coaching does Connor McDavid need at this point? What would you tell him?
I always thought that about Tiger at his peak.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is his swing coach doing other than applauding him and asking for autographs?
Keep it up.
Keep it going.
They say the great ones practice the basics. So maybe that's just it.
They do?
I mean, people have said it. I'm pretty sure Hank Hill said it on an episode of King of the Hill.
You're one of the goats of the Edmonton golf scene. Do you practice the basics?
I haven't swung a club since long weekend of last year.
See? You keep it in the jar. You don't waste it.
I swing tomorrow. I'm good and out again for our fantasy football league.
What are your predictions for yourself?
Oh, man. It's a little daunting. I think I'm in the first group, too, so everyone's going to watch.
Don't hit driver.
I'm hitting driver.
Are you?
100%. Well, I don't actually know. Maybe the course one is not that long. No, I'm hitting driver.
I went golfing the other day, and I was like, I don't know. I just didn't hit driver.
And?
I scored great.
Okay.
Take the big risk out of the bag.
I like to have some fun with it, you know. It's just golf. It's just fantasy football position. I don't think there's a bad spot to select in football.
How prepared are you for fantasy football?
Oh, I don't do any prep.
You just go in cold.
Fantasy football to me, and maybe we'll talk about this a little bit more in this show. I feel like it's lost its way. I feel like we've veered off the course of what fantasy football is all about.
Is it because sports betting's legal now?
No, I think it's just people trying to like do too much with it.
Like the punishments?
Punishments.
But that's just people on social.
Yeah, well, then that's probably the problem. Social media.
It's only like 100 people doing it, though.
One of the guys in my group today, he's probably listening, Justin, sent us a video of a guy. And he's like, we do this thing called landmines, and it's you put it on a player, and then if that player gets selected, you have to do a shot. Can we just not just draft our teams? And if you want to do a shot, just do a shot. You don't have to make like, I want Jahmyr Gibbs, now I have to do a shot. If you want a shot, have a shot. If I want Jahmyr Gibbs, I just want to take Jahmyr Gibbs. They don't have to go be all encompassing. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Whatever, you do it. But I don't know.
The punishments are weird.
You can't be punishing me for getting first overall pick and wanting a top player, you know?
I don't like it.
I'm on board, you know, whatever's good for the group. But it's just like that and like the punishments I feel like we're getting out of control with. And
is your fantasy football league OG, or are you doing weirdo punishments?
We have never had a punishment.
What do you get to win?
Cash. Actually, we do have a punishment. What am I saying? The losers buy pizza and beer at the next draft. So that's fine. It's like a cash penalty.
So most people at there get free pizza and beer.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, the winner gets cash from winning it all too. So I think that one's fine.
Have you ever won it?
Yeah. Twice. I went back to back.
I don't think that's fair because you're a pro.
I'm not really a pro.
And you read a lot of those binders from the NFL teams they send you.
Yeah, that's just contacts. There's no player information there. RP says, you guys don't know much about sports for a couple guys talking on a sports station. No offense. Oh, non-taken RP.
Buddy, it's
a good gig.
Can't trick me.
I recommend it.
Live on the radio.
We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk some football with Brian Diardo from CBS Sports. It is the Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Founded by a former pro motorsports competitor, Evolve Wheels and Tires brings decades of experience in custom wheels, lowering kits, lift kits, and accessories. Visit Evolve Wheels and Tires in West Edmonton, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride, evolve your experience.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Here's what you need to know about Lux Windows. We work hard. We come in early, we stay late, we go above and beyond, and then we go a little further. Not for awards or a pat on the back. We work hard so that choosing our windows and doors is an easy decision for you. It's the Alberta way. It's the Lux way. Everything we are, windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Any project, big or small, when you need metal cut to your exact measurements fast, count on Metal Supermarkets, a warehouse bursting at the seams with inventory, plus metal bending, drilling, punching, notching, plasma cutting, welding, even delivery. Endless possibilities. Now imagine what they can do for you.
How about a garage shelf?
Think bigger, my friend.
2 garage shelves?
There you go.
I live on the edge.
The local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Portions of this hour are brought to you by Emerald Equipment. Emerald Equipment is Edmonton's newest dealer for Yanmar compact equipment. Machines built tough for the jobs that don't quit. Get your Yanmar compact track loaders with ASV Posey track at Emerald Equipment.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.325, welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, Connor Spivak with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Text lines 1-833-401-1440 if you'd like to get in on the conversation. Some breaking news here. The Colorado Avalanche locking up Cale Makar to a contract extension. The AAV, $20.4 million. We touched on it yesterday on the show, or maybe it was the day before. I said he'd get over 20, so I'm glad there. I'm not often right, but we'll take that one. Cale Makar, for now, the only $20 million player in the NHL, 20.4 AAV. Like that one?
The money our Connor left on the table,
yeah, no
is
kidding.
almost as much as he's taking home. He could have got that again.
He'll be there soon.
What's Connor worth in a world where Cale Makar's worth that kind of money? Like,
well, I mean, Cale Makar is an incredible player. And
top 5.
Cap's going up. I think that's well worth it. We even heard that Malcolm Celebrini said he left money on the table for his $18.8 million deal. So it was going to happen. I think if you're McDavid, Nathan McKinnon in the future, maybe there's a lot of guys that are going to start to get huge paydays. So good on Cale Makar to add to the life-changing money he already had accrued in his life. Not too bad. Let's get to the big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches taking you and your team or group to your next destination. Book your ride at silentrides.ca. We are joined by Brian Diardo, covers the NFL with CBS Sports. Brian, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and in honor of being on a show north of the border, I had to rep my 32-year-old Yammer Yager jersey. It's still the best Penguin jersey ever. You've got the script Pittsburgh down here, the Robo Penguin, which I know is controversial in Pittsburgh. But yeah, it's refreshing to hear hockey talk because, as you can imagine, in the States right now, there's not much of that happening.
The Penguins jerseys, like the one you're wearing is a great look. I'm trying to think of a bad look, and maybe you might say like the early Penguins Crosby era.
Yeah.
Not even those were fine, but yeah, the Penguins have a long history of good looks.
They do, and I also got to say, I'm going to hijack the segment for a second here. I love golf. I love golf. I have an unhealthy obsession with it. So I was listening to your you guys talking before on the last segment. I would recommend. I don't use driver because I have a rule. You got to tee off with a 90% club, a club that 90% of the time can get you either on the fairway or in play in general. And it's not as fun. Taking out a driver is great, and I don't want to deprive you of that. If that's really what you want, go do it. But yeah, I ditched the driver a while ago, and my scoring's a lot better, and I'm a lot less frustrated. Albeit, I'm not out driving anybody with my Hybrid 3, but that's neither here nor there.
See, when I used to golf a little bit more competitively, I would say my driver was an issue. I stopped. I golf once a year to get our seating for a fantasy football league, and it's not so bad. I don't know if I'm just, trying with a little bit less power, a little less aggression. There's a little slice there, I'm not going to lie, but it tends to stay on the fairway. So, and if not, just a little bit off. So I try to utilize it when I can.
Right.
I don't have a very much of a strong swing, stroke, whatever you want to call it. Not the strongest part of my game. So yeah, I definitely have to go away from that one for a little bit. Brian, let's talk some NFL football, the preseason. We're just starting to wrap up here as the team's playing their third and final battle here. You've got the Pittsburgh Penguins jersey on. I want to ask you about the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation after Aaron Rodgers, because he has said this will be his final season. Do you think the Steelers 2027 starting quarterback is on the roster today, or do you think they end up looking into free agency or potentially the draft again?
Well, shameless plug. It just got published as you were talking. I just wrote something before the show. It was, what are the Steelers going to do at quarterback? And my editors actually asked me, do a start, bench, and trade cut as far as the four quarterbacks. I think they are going to keep all four. That Mike McCarthy has said that. Now, obviously, as you know, in every sport, what coaches say and what they do oftentimes don't line up. It could be a smoke screen, but I'll take Mike McCarthy as his word. I'll say they keep all four. And in that vein, they're going to start, obviously, Aaron Rodgers this season. You did ask me more specifically, do they have the future quarterback on the current roster? They might in Drew Aller. He didn't light up the preseason statistically. The last two games left something to be desired, but he had a really strong training camp. He started really, really well. I was there for the first few practices, and he looked good. And then he was lights out the first preseason game against the Packers. So I think he's shown enough there where you could be, with guarded optimism, believe if you're a Steeler fan that he could be the guy. I think Will Howard's the real interesting one. He did have a higher completion percentage than Aller during the preseason, but threw 3 interceptions to Aller 0. His overall QB rating was lower, and he wasn't as good running the football. And really, Howard's just kind of that classic overachiever, kind of scrappy underdog story. And the irony really is he went to Ohio State at the end of his college career, Howard, but he really wanted to go to Penn State, which initially looked at him, but then once he got hurt as a junior, walked away from him. And that's where Drew Aller went. So there is a lot of irony here. I think they're going to keep Howard largely because they want to have more options next year. And if you can start the post-Aaron Rodgers era with 2 young quarterbacks under contract on your roster, that's a pretty good place to start.
I would say so. Now, I want to talk about another young quarterback in the NFL, and Fernando Mendoza with the Las Vegas Raiders. And it hasn't been all good, obviously. Going from the college level to the pros is a little bit tougher with that Raiders team. Hey, they were picking number 1 overall for a reason. Do you think he's going to get into the starting lineup this upcoming season, or do you think it's red shirt, let Kirk Cousins handle it?
I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think their hope is that they don't have to play him. I think the I think they would, and let's just look at who one of their minority owners is, Tom Brady. So I think he's going to look at. Obviously, I'm comparing him to Tom Brady, but Brady's situation was sad all year because there obviously is this big debate or discussion. Is it better for guys like Mendoza to play right away, or even Drew All or any young quarterback that shows promise, or is it better to have him sit and kind of redshirt his rookie season? Brady redshirted, wasn't supposed to come in his second year, but did because of circumstances, and then the rest is history. So if I think Brady's thought, and I think Kubiak's thought, the new coach is, hey, let's just let him redshirt, let Kirk Cousins play. Hopefully things go well. I don't think it's going to work out that way. I mean, if history repeats itself again, Cousins is either going to get benched, whether it's from injury or poor performance or a combination of both, which in my opinion is what happened 2 years ago in Atlanta. I think Cousins started to get injured, and I think that contributed to him playing poorly, which contributed to him getting benched. And then, they obviously let Michael Penix in. The rest is history there. So I think personally, he will play it and start at some point this season, and it will be because Cousins suffers an injury. I mean, I still am in the Cousins camp. I think he's a really good, still a good quarterback that isn't in a good situation, really a great situation in Vegas. I mean, I think if he was on Minnesota still, I think that's a great situation for him. It's a team with good receivers, overall a good team. This Raiders team, they're in a transition, right? And so I think for him, that line, it's going to be hard for him to stay healthy. That's why I think Mendoza will play at some point.
Yeah, and that's going to be tough if he does have to go in there because after opening up against the Miami Dolphins, they've got the Chargers, Saints, Chiefs, Patriots, Bills, Rams, Jets, then the Niners, Seahawks, Broncos. That's a tough stretch. And if he gets thrown in against any of those defenses, I don't necessarily like his odds going for that one. Is Brian Diardo joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show? Connor Halley sitting in, taking a look around the NFL. When you look at players who face pressure going into this year, the quarterbacks, fair or unfair, probably carry that burden. I think of Josh Allen, perhaps Lamar Jackson. I think Justin Herbert with a new OC and Mike McDaniel. Who comes to your mind when you think of players that are facing pressure going into the 2026 season?
That's a great question. I mean, I mean, this isn't like a everybody basically, but yeah, I think, I mean, Kyler Murray comes to mind because, and again, like with Kirk Cousins, I still like the potential of Kyler Murray. And, for me, I thought it was going to be, and it played out this way. I'm usually not always right, but in this situation I was when he went to Minnesota and they were debating who's going to win that battle. I was like, well, this is a no contest. I mean, if Kyler Murray shows up and just is Kyler Murray, he's going to win this job. He doesn't have to do anything special to beat out J.J. McCarthy. And that's ultimately what happens. But I think for him, I mean, this is kind of his last chance probably to be a franchise quarterback. So I think for him, there's a lot of pressure. And I think, another guy that came to mind, you mentioned, obviously Lamar and Josh Allen. Those are obviously guys that I agree with. Here's kind of a one that's maybe surprising, or maybe two. Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. Because, Burrow is still, I think people that watch a lot of football know he's a great player and a Hall of Fame player if he's healthy. But the bottom line is he hasn't been healthy consistently. And this Bengal team hasn't been to the playoffs in 4 years. So I think there is pressure in that entire organization to finally cash in on their potential. And in Kansas City, I think for Mahomes, it's can I get back to that level? And it's amazing how in just 1 year, I feel like a lot of people have already kind of forgotten about him. So I think for him, there's this pressure of getting back. And then another guy I'll throw in, just why not? And you mentioned Herbert again. I think he's one of those guys too. But Dak Prescott too. I mean, this is a guy that, when you look at the Cowboys championship drought, he's part of that now. He's been their starting quarterback since 2016. They've won, 2 playoff games with him under center. So I think there's pressure for him to get it done in his 11th season.
Yeah, that's a good one as well. And obviously playing for the Dallas Cowboys, we're in the star, always going to be a little bit more pressure as we're looking around the NFL with Brian Diardo. Now, we talked about teams or players with a little bit of pressure. You look at some of these teams that in the playoffs this year maybe failed to meet expectations last year. Of the playoff teams from last season, are there any that you think drop out? And then I guess corresponding, who do you think would replace them in the postseason?
Another guy too, though, C.J. Stroud. Major pressure this season. That's probably number one. So you can throw, I mean, all those guys I just mentioned, yes, sure. He might have more pressure under him than maybe any player in the NFL this season. CJ Stroud has to get it done. And honestly, teams that might fall out. Well, let's look at who won the AFC South last year, Carolina Panthers. And that's for sure is to me the team that can fall out. And I do, and it's nothing against them. I like what they've done this offseason. I think they've made some nice, good moves. There's still kind of the Bryce Young question. I mean, he was basically, and this isn't really a criticism. They asked him to be a game manager last year. He was, and it paid dividends in the form of a unexpected division title and a playoff berth. That being said, if they want to take the next step with him, he's going to have to open up his game more. He needs to help them win more games as opposed to not losing games. And so I think that's going to be a big question. And in general, that's the most wide open division in the NFL. So I think for that reason, they're a team that could fall out of the playoffs. And the Steelers are obviously another one. I mean, they could be 4-13. I wouldn't be surprised. They could be 11-6, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think they'll probably be somewhere in the middle. But they won the division this last year, and I think the main reason why was Cincinnati lost Burrow for most of the year, half the year, and the Ravens just had one of those years. Seems like every 3 or 4 years the Ravens just have a clunker, and they had one last year. So that's another team I wouldn't be surprised if they missed the playoffs this season.
If we look at the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation, and I've said it a few times, Brian, I think I've liked their last few drafts. I think they've loaded up at the skill positions very well. The offensive line, they're trying, but that quarterback position just seems like it's kind of a weak spot in the group. Deshaun Watson reportedly going to be QB1 when the season starts, but he's going to become a free agent. They've got Shador and Dylan Gabriel. The battle for QB2 might be interesting. What do you think this team does long term? Because I do believe if they fix that, they've got a good group.
Well, it's like our driver conversation. I don't know. I don't know if we're in sync. No, like listen, I'm always a half glass full guy. I just until the Browns do it, I'm so. And again, if they were in like the NFC South, maybe I'm more optimistic. Like I agree with everything you said. Like you didn't say anything wrong. But I live in Ohio. I've seen it up close for decades now with this team since they came back to the league. They've just been a glutton for punishment. And then with the thing with the Watson thing that I think just ties into my whole thinking with the Browns is that it starts at the top, and there's still now questions as to who made this decision about who's going to start. And there's all these murmurs up there that it's the Haslams, that it's not the head coach, that the Haslams want to get they want to get their investment out of Watson in the form of we're paying you all this money. We don't want to see you languish on the bench. We want to milk the remaining dollars out of this horrible contract, which is the worst in the history of professional sports. And so that's my main reason, Connor. Yeah, again, I agree with what you said. Nice offseason, good acquisitions, good young skill players, but their ownership is probably the worst in the NFL, if not the worst, among the worst. And their head coach isn't making the decisions. And until that changes, until there's a cultural shift in that organization, I'm going to be pessimistic and half glass empty on them.
And I don't blame you. I mean, like, I'm not trying to say they are a good team as a whole because they have some questions at the most important position, like you say. I mean, Deshaun Watson, it wouldn't be the route I would go, but I don't think I like any of these quarterbacks. But when I look at the running backs last year, they drafted Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson. I like that. I like the receivers they took this year. Adding to the offensive line of Spencer Fano was good. We thought we had a pretty good player here with Harold Fannin Jr. Fantasy people really excited about what he can do. But I just think that quarterback spot, like that's such a big hole. But if I was a young player and I got drafted to that team, despite the murmurs and the ownership, like you say, I'm kind of thinking we could build something here with this offense. I think it could be a good group, but that division is going to make it mighty tough. Brian, thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate it. And we'll get you on again soon.
Anytime. Have a great weekend.
You as well. There you go. Brian Diardo covers the NFL for CBS Sports. And I'm maybe I got a soft spot. Maybe I am too optimistic about this Cleveland Browns team. Now, they traded away the best player in football, arguably, Myles Garrett this past offseason. The defense, there's some areas, but Denzel Ward, good player. I like Grant Delpit. He drafted Mason Graham last season. Hopefully he can take that step up. But their skill positions, a couple years, if coached and developed properly, I think they got a good group there.
Here's
no quarterback.
Here's what I like about him. As somebody who knows Browns fans, and it's fun to watch them year after year just implode. The storyline of Shedeur Sanders coming off the sideline to take over for Deshaun Watson, the most hated man in the world, And then Shador, who is strangely also hated, but only by parts of the fan base.
But also loved.
But beloved by others. Like, if he can come in a game and take over in a meaningful fashion, how can he be denied as the quarterback of the Browns? Even if Shador has $200 trillion left on his deal.
Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's a free agent after this season. So there's no real commitment there, which makes it all very confusing. And the ownership getting involved kind of makes sense. Like, you would think if you're the coach there and you want to be around this team for the foreseeable future, let's get this position figured out. It's not going to be Deshaun Watson. He's probably not going to be brought back. He had some good days pre-COVID. We're not there anymore. Now it's like, let's find out what we have, and they're just not going to do it.
What do you think about his press conference?
Well, I mean, hey, he apologized after, right? Said he probably shouldn't have taken it out on the fans, but he was frustrated. We all get frustrated. It happens. We'll take a break is what we will do here. When we come back, hopefully you have Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I know he's a little under the weather, so if we can't get to Cam Tate, got some statistics just playing around an NHL Edge. It's an awesome site. The advanced stats for NHL players when it comes to like skating distance and speed and such. Connor McDavid is so fast and showcases that speed so much more than everyone else. We'll dive into that. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped, top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country. The Chicken Parmy Burger. Make extreme pulled pork, garlic and black pepper chicken McNuggets, cheesy bacon McFlavor fries, and the scoop waffle McFlurry. You scroll them. You screenshotted them. You've never been able to order them. Until now. This is the McDonald's World Menu Heist. The most wanted menu items taken from around the world. Now in Canada. Get them while you can. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada. You see it? Fusion promo marketing can make it. Fusion makes high quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality. Get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Feeling overwhelmed by debt? Concerned about what the next few weeks or months will bring for your finances? My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. You don't have to navigate this alone. Together, we can review your options and build a personalized plan to reduce your payments and get you out of debt so you can breathe again. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit BDO.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Hey, Gary. Is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and at Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time. Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com. Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Looking for a tasty lunch? Papa John's to cover. Get a small 2-topping pizza for only $9.99 with code S999 at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show. Guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Jason Gregor, Wanye Gretz. Connor should be back with you here. Presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight's Lotto Max an estimated $10 million tomorrow at the Gold Ball jackpot. $20 million. You can't win if you don't buy a ticket at PlayAlberta.ca. Remember to always use your game sense. We're going to get to candidates soon in the morning, but maybe me, maybe later on in the show. Maybe Wanye. Maybe it'll be Wanye's role instead of candidates 2-minute warning. But why don't we do some stats of the day brought to you by All Star Construction. Founded in 2009, they continue to grow. They're hiring general laborers, hydrovac operators, backhoe operator, gas piping technician, and more. Go to Indeed.com and search All Star Construction. And just kind of ripping around here, as I like to do. You know, on this day in 1994, Tiger Woods won the 94th U.S. Golf Amateur Championship.
I remember it. He was wearing shorts and a full brimmed straw hat.
We've seen the footage popping up a little bit, right? Then you go into some of Tiger Woods' craziest statistic throughout his career. He made 142 cuts without, 142 tournaments. He made the cut without missing. That was from 1998 to 2005. Is that prime Tiger, your memory?
Well, the year the Tigers won, that was 2001, I believe.
2000 into 2001, yeah.
Yeah.
The Tigers won, he won every single major.
Just
the calendar
not,
year.
yeah. I still think it's a Tigers line. Like, come on.
So he made 142 consecutive. That was he also had 683 total weeks as the world number one. Not consecutive, but broken up. He had a 15-stroke margin of victory at the 2000 U.S. Open. Like, incredible. Could you imagine going into that one just like, well, no one is catching me. When holding an outright lead after 54 holes, he converted 37 straight into victory. So, you know, if he was leading going into the weekend, he was going to be a problem. You talked about it. He had the Tiger Slam from 2000 to 2001, holding all 4 major trophies at the same time. In between 1997 and 2008, in majors, Tiger was a combined 126 under. If you had to guess, what the next closest golfer was in that time, what do you think they would be?
+2.
63 over.
And what was Tiger?
126 under.
He was 180 strokes better than second place.
189. Let's say 190.
That's tracking prime Tiger, but that's
Yeah.
beyond. These kids today, Connor, couldn't hold a candle to Tiger in his prime.
He is the only player since World War II to win the same PGA Tour event in 4 consecutive years. Bay Hill and Torrey Pines.
If you could bring Tiger Woods 2001 era onto the PGA today, would he just run over everybody?
I feel like it.
I feel like he would.
Guys might keep it close, and maybe he's not quite as dominant, but all the luxuries that today's player has, he would have too. Improved technology, slightly better travel, nutrition.
I mean, Tiger was the forefront of a lot of that. He kind of came into the tour when a lot of people were still, let's call them gentlemen athletes, a little bit of a front porch. Maybe they smoked cigars actively.
Yeah.
And Tiger was the first guy in the gym.
I mean, he was committed. It wasn't just, a photo of him standing with John Daly, right? One of the best uses of memes you can find. Just unbelievable. Some other stats here. We'll go to the major leagues of baseball. Some people don't like it when you call it that, but either way, Tariq Skubal tonight will become the third pitcher in Major League Baseball history to win a Cy Young with his team that drafted him and then face them a season later. David Cone did it with Toronto and Kansas City, while Greg Maddux did it in 1993, Atlanta, and the Cubs. Chris Sale tonight. Sorry, last night. He had a shutout with 10 plus strikeouts in no walks. It was a 1-0 shutout. He shut out the back-to-back defending champions, 3 former MVPs in the opposing lineup, and the reigning World Series MVP is the opposing starting pitcher. How many other people do you think have done that?
Nobody?
You're right. No one has ever done that. Except for Chris Sale with the Atlanta Braves last night, beating the Dodgers. That's what I love about Major League Baseball. You can just add these extra little categories. And how many players have ever gone up against 3 former MVPs? Probably doesn't happen that often unless you play the Dodgers this year. He shut him out. First time done.
And baseball's cool because even with the Shoheis and all the crazy players of the modern era, they'll still find a way to be like, and that beat the record by Ironside McGee in 1926. Like, even those old ballers are still getting recognition.
Last night, it was the first time in Major League Baseball history that 2 catchers hit leadoff home runs on the same day. Carter Jensen and Drake Baldwin. Not to just expand on Baldwin, it was the first time a Major League catcher hit a leadoff home run in a 1-0 win.
I really want to get Drake.
Drake, go ahead.
Drake.
So pretty interesting little stretch here in the majors. Again, once hockey season picks up, we'll probably dive into more hockey statistics, but Major League Baseball, they've got some fun stuff. As I said, I was just kind of playing around with NHL.com/NHL-ice for those of you who want to go check it out. Last season, total kilometers skated. Connor McDavid, where do you think he would rank, Wanye?
Top 5.
He's number 1.
Oh, wow.
531.49 kilometers skated. The next closest, a great player himself, Quinn Hughes, 494.78. So that's a 37-ish kilometer difference. It's all defensemen, essentially, after Connor McDavid. And part of it is that strategy we talked about on the power play, right? They get it up, rip around out there. Quinn Hughes, Provorov, Sider, Schaefer, Lacombe, Hudson, Mathin, Celebrini coming in at the 8th spot, followed by Kyle Connor. Now, of course, speed is always a big one. Who do you think had the max skating speed last year?
Connor?
No. Oh. Beck Mallenstein.
Ooms?
Hit 40 kilometers per hour.
Who again?
Beck Mallenstein.
For whom?
Buffalo.
Ah.
Now, the difference would be if you were to look at how many times they skated at a certain speed. But Nathan McKinnon actually had the second fastest this time, 39.88. Connor McDavid, 39.61. Interesting, hey? How many times do you think Connor McDavid hit a speed of over 35 kilometers?
Over the course of the season?
Over the season, yeah.
100.
151. Next
So
closest.
twice a game, basically.
Yeah, give or take, yeah. Next closest, Owen Tippett. Now, again, this is unfair, but we're just for the sake of the segment. How many do you think he did it? If McDavid broke the 35 kilometer per hour mark 151 times, the second place Owen Tippett must have done it blank times.
I don't know, like 80% less, I would say. Or like 20% less, 80% of the score.
61 times.
Really?
Yeah. So, Oilers fans, when you're watching McDavid do what he does and ramp up this speed, it's uncommon.
Uncommon.
You would have to take, it'd be close between the next 3, and they would almost total McDavid. It'd be close. Tim Stützle at 46, Nathan McKinnon, 45. Not great. Point out there at 36. Good little skater in his own right. And just for fun, if you had to guess the hardest shot in the NHL.
That's an interesting question.
Because this, like, I'll tell you, Tyler Clevin.
Oh. Okay.
166 kilometers per hour. Morgan Geekie had the second hardest shot last season, 165.81. Ryan full at 165.78. Actually, here you go. Jake Wallman, the guy we talked about a little bit this week, 164.1. That is no, he only surpassed 161 miles kilometers per hour once. That was the shot, obviously. But he's got some power back there. Interesting stats. I love this kind of stuff. If we could have this more accessible in every single sport, I think it'd be so cool. Like, especially get into NFL with like, wow, so and so is a really lazy route runner. They don't run that much all over the field. Costs us how many times to $20 million? Man, do it. Oh, we're talking Mr. Kale McCarr. I guess it depends on which statistic we're talking about here. When I looked at skating speeds, he's not top 10 when it comes to top speed. He's not top 10 when it comes to times over the 35-kilometer mark. But if I break it into the fencemen, let's see. Max skating speed, Cale McCarr had the 5th fastest speed, 38.11. After him, Jake Wallman, 37.85. So Wallman can rip it. He can also move pretty fast once he gets going. But he only eclipsed the 35-kilometer mark twice on the year. McCarr did it 25 times.
I feel like Connor could go faster if he wanted to. He just doesn't care.
I mean, at a certain point, it's dangerous.
It's like how he doesn't want to open net goals.
Well, he should. He should start wanting those.
Have you noticed that, though, in his career? He always tries to pass for the open net goal. He never wants it.
Well, I don't love that.
He's playing a game in his head, obviously.
Bury it when you get that opportunity. That would be my thought. Matthew Schaefer up there in terms of skating burst over 35 kilometers per hour. 33. Jake Sanderson second, and McCarr, as we mentioned, 25 and third. So these guys, pretty good athletes. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll get to the roundtable. We'll do the fantasy report. We'll talk some fantasy football. So if you got any questions ahead of your draft, you'd like me and Declan and Wanye and Connor to talk about, you can let us know. 1-833-401-1440. But right now, Sports Report Update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Hire Good. We solve real problems for businesses while creating a real impact. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. Go to hiregood.ca. Hire Good. Stable job creates stable lives.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Breaking news coming down the road of the NHL is Cale McCarr signing the largest contract in NHL history, 8 years with an AAV of $20.4 million. MLB schedule today, one final penalty was the Reds over the Cubs, 10-8. The next game will be up. The Dodgers and the Tigers at 4:40. Then the Marlins and Nats at 4:45. The Toronto Blue Jays and Seattle Mariners at 5:15 with Dylan Cease on the bump. NFL preseason action about to get going in just a moment's time here with the Commanders and the Ravens. Late game tonight, we'll see the Vikings and the Broncos. Toronto Tempo in action in the WNBA. And a game tip for that one against the Las Vegas Aces. And a strange story coming out of the NFL today. Federal authorities arrested and charged 2 men, one of whom reported posed as a San Francisco 49ers player for defrauding more than 2,000 women out of about $1.3 million. Declan Kruger, this is the Sports 1440 update.
1440, Smart Radio Station HJR. That's from West Edmonton Mall.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Noodle origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Newdale, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to apply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Newdale was renamed David Oodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Noodle.
From the first pitch to the final out. It's Toronto Blue Jays baseball games live right here. Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Sports 1440 is proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations for sales, service, parts, rental, and finance when you're in it for the long haul. Edmonton Trailer.
2006.
saw the launch of Twitter. JT was number 1 with sexy back, and the corner of Jasper Ave and 118th was never the same.
On the rocks. Celebrate 20 years of OTR.
Friday, September 18th.
With Whale and the Wolf. Whale and the Wolf.
20 years of music and memories.
20 years of On the Rocks.
Friday, September 18th. Get in early, Jasper Ave and 118th.
Do you know why people love working at GS Construction? It's honest work. It's work that needs to be done, and we're really good at what we do. That's why GS Construction has been in business for over 50 years. We won't be wearing a top hat and tails, more like hard hat and boots, because we're heading underground to keep the water flowing in and out of your homes and businesses in Edmonton. GS Construction is currently looking for experienced players and top men. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today. If your bank do local, we do. When you bank with Benson Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions of profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I perform is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, wow, great hair transplant. I want them to think,
Wow, great hair.
go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
Of course, this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors, professional athletes, kids playing soccer, grandparents in the garden, roads here, upstairs, and the nice post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Like, shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Right. Your show here on Sports 1440 brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. The Lotto Max night 10 mil. Got the gold ball jackpot tomorrow 20 mil. And if sports is more your thing, you can check out the Gregor Show Boosted picks of the day at PlayAlberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Stephen Kruger, Connor Spivak with you here. We're going to get to the roundtable in a second. But I want to get this text that rolled in from John earlier on in the show. He says, hey guys, what's the worst hot mic incident you've ever had on air? If it is safe for work. You know what? I've actually, since we've come here, for me, so far so good. We had one or two in a previous regime. There's been a couple times actually when I'm sitting at the bar and I just see the text line go crazy. And it's like, low tide, your mic's on. And I run over and, we're kind of goofing about it, laughing. The worst for me, I don't think he'd mind me telling it. When we were down the dial once, we were having to have Struddy record something. And when you recorded off air, like when we were commercial break recording something, you didn't need to turn your mic on. We could just turn a feature on, and it would allow our computers to pick up the voice, and that's it. So we had Jason started trying to record it was called like a promo. Like we used to have little things like today on the show we were joined by Craig Button and looked at Wanye Gretz, and then it would just play the clip. And Struddy was reading it and slipped up a couple, put it in his mic. So all of a sudden, he's on air. And it was quieter, but there might have been a few choice words that were let out in frustration. So that was probably the worst one that I can recall. It wasn't even that big of a deal because not too many people even noticed it. But I remember very, very much me and Meg, like, shut up. Turn your mic off. Like, you don't need to turn this on. It's kind of a funny moment. I don't know if you've had any experiences here.
When I first started doing this, I was very concerned that the hot mic was going to cook my goose.
Yeah.
But as time's gone on, I'd won. I think it was last year when Gregor was on vacation. But I didn't say anything that bad. But I was just talking during the commercial break. That's about as bad as it gets.
That's kind of, I think, for the most part, even if we do leave our mics on, and you don't control yours, so it's on kind of Declan or me when we're sitting in that spot to control it. But usually you slide away. So if you were talking and it was kind of like you can't really hear me that well. So it might play under the commercials.
One time, Gregor told me I was breathing into the mic, and I just about died on the air. I was so embarrassed. He's like, "You're breathing. You sound like Strutty. He breathes too." I'm like, "I thought I'm supposed to breathe."
Yeah, if it's up the nose, I can kind of get picked up.
You're so confident you're breathing purposefully.
Well, I wanted to try it, but some harder than other. Jack, you ever had any bad hot mic situation?
Yeah, I had one real bad one back down the dial station. The company didn't pay me enough, so I was never too upset about it. But I was opting for the Bear, and it was the Warren and Toby show. Toby wasn't in; it was just Warren. He was off site doing it, and I had to record a conversation, like a call-in. I had to record a call-in for like a contest that was going, and I played the entire conversation over the air by mistake. Because basically, like, I won't explain all the intricacies of how it works, but like there are 4 different program settings, and one of it like sends it on air over the feed, and that one was selected to be on. And then as we're getting texts in about this conversation having gone out completely over the air, I accidentally turned my mic on and started cussing about it. So not a banner day for me there. God bless Warren, man. He took it like an absolute champ. Made me feel like because there's some people in that situation who would really like, who's this kid, kick you while you're down for it. He nicest guy in the world about it. Always really appreciated him for that. But easily my worst one. There have been a couple times here where I might have left some things on over the YouTube stream, but it's never been anything too bad.
Yeah. And YouTube is quick to tell us.
Yeah.
We can hear you guys. I will say I've made many mistakes in this business. When I first started working with Jason, it's a little overwhelming, right? Like going from the night show to Jason where you have traffic at the time, and there was a lot going on. And there was a couple times where there was that pause. And in my mind, I hear dead air, and I'm half doing it prior to the commercial break. And then, like, Gregor's like, what was that? Like, I thought you threw the break. Like, no, I was mid-sentence. Nope, yeah, I threw you the break. My bad. And so you come back to laugh about it. That's why I always tell our younger people, pay attention.
You gotta pay attention.
That's the biggest key in this biz. Pay attention.
Get pucks deep.
Pretend every mic is on. No drinks by the board. Definitely looks like you're doing good, Connor. I think you're doing good as well. We only had one incident. I think Brandon spilled the coffee on the board once.
I meant to ask, what happened with the power outage? There's a magnificent photo of the whole studio being dark and the thing glowing. How do you stay live during a power outage?
We don't know. That's
backup generator?
It must have been. Because TV went out. I think the AC went out. Everything. Except for that red light or blue light in the top corner. And I think Deck's computer was still good to go. But he was getting blinded by it. But I kind of liked it working in the dark.
It was cool. Look cool.
Yeah, we should bring it back maybe. Turn off all the lights in the building and do the show in the dark.
It scared me.
It's neat to know that there's redundant
It
power.
was a cyber attack.
No, that would take us all down.
Soviets.
I didn't think of that at all. Mines were in different places, I suppose. But it was cool. I don't know. I took that picture, so I thought it looked neat. Anyways, we should probably get to the round table where we like to throw things over to the other side of the room. Get some takes, hot or not. This one brought to you by Go Auto, who's donated more than $27.2 million to local charities. They take pride in supporting the community where they live and do business. GoAuto.ca. Deck, what are you thinking today?
Well, if you don't mind, maybe I think me and Connor came in with similar ones here.
Sure.
I know I'm opposed to his take, so maybe we'll throw it to him and let him give his.
All right, Connor Spivak, the intern. It is final day. What's up, buddy? What do you got?
So I had said that with the new Cale Car extension being at $20.4 million, that this contract, when it kicks in, ruins their chances of winning a Stanley Cup.
Ooh. Okay, Deck with the counterpoint.
Well, yeah, I just disagree. Totally, respectfully, for a few different reasons. One, like the amount the cap has increased. 2 years ago it was $88 million. Last season it was $94 million. This year it's going to be $104 million. And the season after, when it does kick in, it's going to be $113 million. A $25 million increase in 4 years of an $88 million cap. I went back and checked. a 28% increase. Like, that's borderline unheard of. His percentage of cap signed for is, I think, 17.7%. When Connor signed his 8-year, $100 million deal, it was like 15.7%. Now, obviously, Kale's is higher, but it's not like we're talking 4% of the cap versus 25. I just think we need to adjust ourselves to the new cap era world in the NHL. And with the money going up, by the way, the cap's going to jump again. And after that, barring something super unforeseen. So, like, these numbers that seem so egregious and so ridiculous, they're not what we once knew based on what the cap is becoming.
Young Connor, the teachable moment here for you. 20 million is nothing. If you think it is, you're wrong.
I'm with Declan because we've seen that the statistics that were brought up previously, going from the $8.7 million deal by Crosby, and then McDavid, and then the Mac and Celebrini, and it's all hovering like 14 to 16% of the team cap. I think that the Avalanche have a bit of a luxury here because they've got Nathan McKinnon at 12.6 through the 2031 season. Like, that's incredible value. Nikosh is at 11 through the same through 2034 actually. So he's in there for a long time. When the time you're done with Landeskog and Kadri, I assume we're bringing neither of them back. Maybe Landeskog's back year-to-year basis, but Kadri, if he's still there, he'll be 38, probably moving on at that point. James Schwartz would be the same thing. So I think you got guys clearing up. What I do think is it does kind of, remind us we have to draft well. Me saying we is we're the Avalanche. You got to make sure you hit on those young players that can fill your bottom six. Finding good value elsewhere. But Cale Makar deal kicks in next year. Get Devin Taves through 2031. I don't think it'll be easy, but I still think they'll have some room to work with. And they've got such a good roster. I don't think it'll prevent them from winning a cup or anything like that. It's a good point, though. We've had some people bringing up, like, let's see if I can find this one here. Darcy had said, just that we're on previous conversation, what is Makar in the top 3 for when it comes to those advanced stats? And he's in there for skating. We know he can wheel around out there. I said he is third in defense in scoring last season. Darcy said, I get that he's an amazing defenseman, but is he really the best in the league? I don't know. I don't know, but I think I'm just a couch fan. I find $20 million for maybe not the best defenseman risky, but who knows? But hey, good on him. You can get paid in cash. You only live once.
If you think $20 million is a lot of money, you live in the past.
Well, I do.
I live in the future where the cap is over $100 million. Craig Button made an interesting point on the show, calling the Darnell Nurse contract not nearly as difficult as the cost of doing business goes up, he said. I think that, like, we have to totally reframe what we think is a lot of money in this new next 3-year span.
Well, and what the cap was, it's supposed to go up to $104 million next year.
100 for this season. It's going to be 113.5 the season it kicks in for Kale.
It's 2006, 2026, 2027 right now.
It sure is.
Whoa. Mind bleep.
I was looking at
time is moving.
Some of the people at the LPGA tournaments, Instagrams, and one said Stanford 30. And I was like, oh, that lady's 30 years old and goes to Stanford. No, Connor, that's her graduation year. She's not 30. 2030 is her graduation.
You ever think about, like, when your son's going to graduate high school?
You're 3,100.
What's going on? Yeah, thank you for correcting that one back. But yeah, I mean, I think it makes tougher to emphasize that you do have to draft properly, but I don't know. I mean, I think you just ask around the league, where is Cale Makar regarded? And I think everyone probably has him top 3. If you disagree, let me know. Tell me who you got, who you think it might be.
The top 3 defensemen?
In the league, yeah.
Oh.
You got Makar in there?
No. Oh, for just defensemen?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think everybody would agree that he's an elite defenseman. So
I think most would concede he's the best defenseman in the NHL.
And that's what I'm thinking. You'll have people that say he's not. I might have, maybe like Quinn Hughes. Maybe he's more your cup of tea. Maybe you'll have him Bouchard. But if he's falling outside of anyone's top 3, that's not like, I don't know. I think that's just the way this is going. And NHLPA loves it. The players love it. Those guys are going to cash in next. Probably huge fans. Lan says, I remember when Gregor would have people call in and answer a trivia question. And if you were not fast enough, you get hung up on. I got mad at you on air. Well, you can't have just dead air for 5+ seconds.
Here's a secret about Jason Gregor because he's not here today. when we were thinking about 1440 coming back in that terrible summer where there was no sports radio, I was ranting out one day about a new station. I was like, we could take callers all the time. He was like, nope.
Doesn't happen anymore.
He said he got into it with one guy. He's like, I can't risk it. Like, you get too hot on the air. He said,
Well, and also, like, everyone just loves texting now. You know, I get it. It makes sense. So, but we still open up the phone lines occasionally. G says Bouchard's contract's going to look cheap soon. Well, and, you know, people can throw it out there. Would you rather have Cale Makar for 20 or Bouchard for 10.5? Now, at the end of the 2030 season, Bouchard will be, what, 29, 30 years old? He'll look to cash in, and he'll get that money, we think. But that's the fun debate that comes along with these big contracts. This one coming in here from No Name. I hate it. Things will be a summer that's looked back at like the Nurse Jones summer. Ridiculously high contracts being handed out. Makar will be old by the end. Yeah, I mean, that's the way it goes. And I know, like, when this was announced that the cap was going up, a lot of people were like, well, you know, it'll probably be the guys on the bottom end that will get the increase. But this summer, guys are getting paid.
But wasn't there also a cap freeze then because of COVID? Like, that's not going to be happening.
It was escrow too.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, all the numbers are indicating we're going up in cap space, right? So, I don't know. I think the NHL's in a really good spot. Plus, you start talking about expansion, and all of a sudden those franchise fees start kicking in. The owners making more and more money. That being said, there's a few things we got to fix. Every team needs to have a radio crew. We got to get that going. That's neither here nor there. So, Triple C in a truck says, I was saying this all last year. Nurse's contract is nothing in the next 2 years. He already lived through the bulk, and now we got Wall, like Mr. Glass. But a guy who can skate fast and shoot hard. Statistics show us.
That's Triple C in a truck?
Triple C, yeah.
Yeah, see, he's got the spirit. 10 million's nothing. It's nothing. You're thinking the old cap regime.
Do you guys have any ticket prices increases with the new cap? Manny, I do not. I assume it goes up. But that's just life. Nothing's getting cheaper. Except McDonald's hooked us up with some nice combos. Actually.
The nice $5 combos.
Yeah. I love that.
Love McDonald's value.
Lance follows up with saying, Gerd got mad at you for not being fast enough. See, I let people have too much time. That was probably like when I first got the gig. Too nice.
See, back in the day, Connor, they would let kids call in to the shows. John Short would do it.
I recall.
John Sexsmith would do it. I had a tape of myself phoning into John Short. I had my questions written down. He was nice to me, talked to me like I was his buddy.
How many questions did you get?
2.
That's not bad.
I asked him how his wife was doing to show respect. He said, thank you very much for asking. She's fine. And my voice was very high upon listening back.
It is funny now because when we open up the phone lines, one of my instructions to listeners just say, don't ask him how he's doing. We don't need that. Let's get right into the question, and there's a good chance I drop it right after. So like as soon as like, especially if the phone lines are like super busy, we don't need back and forth.
Ask me how I'm doing.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
We wasted time.
Oh. It's in the Canadian soul to
I know.
ask somebody how they're doing.
I'd be like, let's just get right into the question. And then, because even Greg would be like, good. No answer.
If I was hit by a car and I was beside the road and somebody came up to me like, hey, how you doing? Like, yeah, I'm fine.
All good. All good. Yeah. It's a good part of it. We like doing it occasionally. And it's fun. It's better when you have the delay button. Just in case. We had a bad stretch down dial. Post game shows. There's like a group of kids that found it funny to swear on there.
Well, this is why you gotta stop it.
Off. Yeah, we had to.
They ruined it for everybody.
But then we got the delay. And I was on that so quickly. You drop a bomb, gone. We say, oh, we must have lost the call. It never made its way to air.
Do you like brace yourself when people are calling in when you're going through a crazy night like that?
100%.
Yeah.
Your finger's on it. You're ready to go. We also went through a stretch during COVID where we'd bring in a lot of former players, some of which who did not have filters. So we would tell them, this is AM radio. Gotta watch your mouth. The occasional one would slip through. Someone had a really bad one. And it was really annoying because they were so well spoken prior. And it wasn't even it wasn't even a reason like, oh, I was so bleeping mad or anything like that. He just dropped the most casual F-bomb, and I missed it. I still think of it. But yeah.
You still think of that F-bomb?
Yeah, obviously not nothing to know who the former player was, but it wasn't like a situation with a guy who was a little rough around the edges. It was a very good guess that just dropped the most casual F-bomb I've ever heard, and I didn't even pick up on it. I don't think it was Dingman. Dingman was pretty solid, Triple C. Okay, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk some fantasy football. I know a lot of you guys get your drafts coming up in the next 10 days or so. You can get your questions in. 1-833-401-1448 is the friend. No, it's not the frenzy. Oh, too locked into fantasy now. There's no turning back. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the way it's too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with favor. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free favor focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back.
Thinking of growing your business in partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Crispy, caramelized edges, a pillowy, airy center. Meet the new Papa John's pan pizza. Made with Parmesan and Romano cheeses, Papa John's special garlic sauce, and Italian seasoning, all baked directly into the bottom of the crust for a signature golden finish and crispy, savory crunch. Grab a medium pan pizza for just $16.99 today at your local Papa John's. Order now in the app or at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
What's 426 divided by 12? Okay, if I carry the one. Yeah, we're out. Go Auto has a free credit calculator that does the math for you. See what you could qualify for, estimated payments, and get a better idea of what's in your budget. Because shopping for a vehicle is exciting. For Christian numbers, yeah, not so much. Text check to 70777 and 7777. That's check to 78077.
Scott McGilvery here, HETV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquacentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Mr. Reuter cries like a little tiny baby child.
Hey, Mr. Reuter, you've got a package from Mrs. Reuter.
Aw, the card says, thank you for our unbreakable bond. You're the ProPress fitting to my copper pipe.
What's in the package, Mr. Reuter?
Oh, let's see. It's a Plumbus 2000 spud wrench. You know I'd never buy one for myself.
Just like tears. It's blowing or it's free. With Mr. Reuter.
I love this woman.
You don't just need property services, you need problems. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. Because our team is built on second chance, and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit HireGood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
This hour brought to you by eWay. Helping you finish your electrical project is there, from hot lights to electrical panels. The gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of our Edmonton area locations. Hero.ca, the partner.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Head over there today, check out the Gregor picks, all boosted. PlayAlberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. Lots of text rolling in here. What's going on? The post-game show with Gazzola back today was so funny. He would get so mad at callers. I'm pretty sure the producer would do it on purpose. We had some gems on the 1260 post-game show. There's some people that called in every night, maybe after a drink or two. Felt like that sometimes. But, it's good times, good memes. Right now, I'll get to the fantasy football report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. More than no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or AC. Bundle them together and save more at legacyheating.ca. Wanye, should we do it?
Let's do it.
We'll open up the phone lines. Yes. 1-833-414-1440. If you want to call in, got a question about fantasy football, we'll open up the phone lines here. You can still text us. Maddie says never take calls. Text allows you to choose content. Well, see me sitting in the host chair. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Wanye just is embracing the madness that could ensue.
Oh, I just want to hear people think.
All right. Well, and you know what? If you want to talk about it, we can do that too.
I'd love to talk about it.
We'll open the phone lines for the next 10 to 15 minutes. If you guys want to call it, we'll allow that. In the meantime, my thought for this segment, we did try to get a guest rolling in. If we're looking at fantasy football, do you get into it?
No.
So it's not a sport that you're a big fan of?
I'm learning the storylines of the NFL. I'm on season 3. I think several things going into this season.
Yeah.
But not enough to play fantasy.
Well,
everyone get frustrated with me.
It's pretty fun. I got my first draft tomorrow. Depending on position, I think it's interesting. We had a listener, Bruce. He came in to pick up a prize yesterday as well. And I kind of got on the topic of like Puka Nacua. And that one to me is very intriguing because on field, he's really good. But there was an off field incident where he said some things and bit a woman. So there could be a suspension coming. It's looming, which I think might hinder his draft stock. We know when he's on how good he can be. It seems like these speed bumps are leading to better things for him, which is the way you have to grow after an incident like this. But I think the top 3 are kind of locked, especially in a PPR league. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamar Chase, Bijan Robinson. If I'm picking third, I'm content with either of those guys. After that, it gets a little bit messy for me personally. You got Puka, you got Jackson Smith and Jigba in there as well. Amon St. Brown, if it's PPR, you're always going to like that. But Jonathan Taylor, he's standing out to me. That's the guy I do like. CeeDee Lamb, James Cook, right in that category as well. CeeDee Lamb, another one if it's PPR. Christian McCaffrey, I've seen him going all different places in mock drafts. Some people have him going as high as 6. Some have him slipping a little bit lower. Maybe some people concerned with the injuries. So a bit of confusion around that. Fergus from Edgar says, hey guys, draft tomorrow. 4th overall, who do you think I take? And like as I was just saying, I don't necessarily love that. I think the top 3 are kind of set. If you're picking first, it's going to be preference. I'll probably go Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs. If I'm picking third, you're probably content with Jamar Chase. 4th, though, I guess it depends. If you can follow up with the PPR league, that does change things just a little bit as well. Because there's going to be that temptation for Puka Nacua. But I would be a little worried. Jackson Smith and Jigba might be a little bit safer. I'd rather have the quarterback in LA throw to me than Sam Darnold, but Darnold won a Super Bowl. You could probably drop that slander. Declan, if you were picking 4th, and let's just say Gibbs, Chase, Robinson are all gone. Are you going receiver, Puka Nacua, Jackson Smith, Jigba, Amon St. Brown? You think running back, Jonathan Taylor? What would you be doing?
I mean, I'm bullish on. I think first of all, let me actually say this. I actually think that's one of the worst spots to draft because I think there's a really clear top 3, and then I think there's like a lot of debate, discussion. Are you playing PPR, half PPR, standard, all that? We don't have to talk about it. I would probably lean Jackson Smith and Jigba, but part of me thinks there's no way he'd be able to replicate his season last year. I would want to go CMC because of the receiving upside, but the injuries are just such an issue. And it just seems a little too high for Jonathan Taylor and that Colts offense. So I guess I go JSN, but like I honestly think drafting fourth this year might be one of the worst spots.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's been years in the past where like I might drop down to that spot if it was my choice, just to see how it plays out. Slurpy Sean says I'm 16-team league. That's crazy. Assume Bijan, Jib, and Gibbs go for a second. How ballsy would it be to take Jonathan Taylor instead of Jamar Chase? I think it'd be very ballsy, Slurpy Sean. Depending on PPR once again, because that's always a nice little perk there. If we went to
Dude, also in a 16-team league, I gotta be ballsy. You gotta swing for the fences a little bit.
At number 3, though, I mean that feels a little early for me. If you go back, to last year, only one player had over 400 fantasy points, and this is PPR, I do believe. Chris McCaffrey kind of sat alone. Puka Nacua was there. The guy's going to drop off. So I don't know. I like Jonathan Taylor, though. That's the thing. I'm a huge fan of Jonathan Taylor. I think in that offense, it could be pretty good. They bring in Keenan Allen, Alec Pierce to stretch the field, who I'm kind of worried about week to week as a fantasy player. That's just my little tidbit there. But I think it'd be ballsy. I don't know if I would do it. I think I still might lean Jamar Chase because they are going to be throwing that football a lot in Cincinnati. If they stay healthy, I like it. Okay, we got a caller. We got Doug on the line. Doug, I will ask you, how is it going today?
The sun is shining. It's not raining. So what do you want, eh?
Perfect. Sounds perfect. We don't have any windows, so we don't really know. But it sounds
I'll take my word for it. It's nice outside.
What's on your mind?
Like, listen, guys, you were talking about the owners earlier on and whatnot. I'm going to give you my perspective, and I'm going to ask you what to do type thing.
Sure.
A lot of questions with this team coming into this season. There's no doubt about it, right? Goaltending's questionable. Defense, yeah, looks okay, but still a few questions there. Forwards, to me, we have a lot of depth in our third, fourth lines. I'm still not 100% sure about our upsets, who's going to do what now that Savoy is potentially going to be out for a while. I know we've got $4 million. You want to hang on to it as long as you can to see what you really do have. I'm going to ask you guys this question. If you're the king of the world and you can do what you want to do and tell Mr. Case what you want to do, what would you look at? Where would you go if you had a choice?
I guess I'll lead off here, Doug, and thanks for the call. Appreciate it. I think in the top 6, I'd be pretty content with the first line. Assuming Isaac Howard can hang around there, top line, left wing, I'm good. David Hyman. Your second line, Draisaitl, Puck, Colson. I mean, that's where the questions kind of arise, I would say. Could Kasperi Kapanen jump up into that role? I'd love to give him that opportunity. Like, I think in the past when he's been healthy, he's been really fun to watch. If he can slide up into that spot, all of a sudden you have a bit of a third line question with Rodney Hopkins and Jason Dickinson. Could go there. On daily faceoff, we've got Matthew Joseph, Szymanski, Trent Frederick. That's interesting to me. So is there anyone else there that you could go get to fill the spot there? Or, is there someone in the organization, like you're not talking about Matthias Janmark. We've talked about PTO potential if, Curtis Lazar, but that doesn't really help you necessarily in that spot. On the back end, Wanye, that's to me where I feel like for the most part, the Oilers are good. Like 3 out of 4 lines for the Oilers, even with the injury, I'm good with. And then on the back end, 2 out of 3 pairings, I'm good with. I think Matthias Beckham and Evan Bouchard, you'll probably pull them back a little bit in terms of time on ice. Connor Murphy getting him re-signed was huge to me. And I just hope he's that stabilizing force for Jake Wallman. Now, Jake Wallman has to stay healthy. If he's going to continue to play, 50 to 60 games a year, then that $7 million you gave him, I think, is going to look worse and worse every single season. But Michael Doolin, Ryan Shea, to me, that's kind of like the up in the air, have to wait and see what happens. You've got Emerson who could potentially slide into the lineup. The Regula injury, heck, I don't think he was going to be a consistent threat on this team. But I would agree, like as the caller said, Doug, the top end is good. The top end is fine. It's lower into the lineup where they start to beat those questions. And in the pipes, we're going to have to wait and see. Can Tristan Jarry bounce back? I don't know. For his sake and Stan Bowman's sake and everyone who's involved in that trade, yeah, hope so. Doesn't mean that we don't know. He's been good in the AHL. A couple years there.
but we don't know until he does in the NHL. So you're counting on the coaching staff to coach him up, have everyone ready, especially the depth guys. But like, when you have the top end talent, I think that's enough to get you by. It'll be a playoff team and all that sort of thing. But I think the depth is where they'll really be tested this year.
I think you got to stand pat right now. There's so many questions, like you said, Connor, going in with the new coaching staff. Who's even going to take to this new regime? Who looks good on paper right now on August 28th, and 20 games into this season could be completely different. We can't be going through maxed out all season against the cap. We got to have a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah. And we've heard it before, you don't use that space. But at the end of the season, that's a little bit more. Gives you some room to make space, bring someone in. And you know what? I will say this, like, if there is a time of the year when I want to figure out what I have, it's October. I don't want to, be giving these guys looks into the playoffs. Like, maybe October, let's see what it is. Get an honest assessment. Is a new regime. It's a clean slate for all these guys with Mike Babcock and company. If they get to November, December, and all of a sudden it's like, you know what? This isn't going to win. Like, we need to really get everyone here, bring some new faces and change things up. Then you do so, and you get a little more cap space as the season goes on. But I think I'd roll with it straight through until you get back Matthews on the front end, and then the gold pending. Man, and we saw it last year. They made a trade, gave up a player that people probably could have kept in the organization for a little bit longer, and it just felt like a parallel move. So I think patience is good for at least the first couple months of the season. If things don't go well, then we got a lot to talk about. Team Bean says, unless you can have an impact player, you wait and see, clear the cap space. Dean, I agree. You maybe said it more a little cleaner than I did. Graceful with your words, but yeah, unless I can get a guy who's going to be big time, and even then, I'd still rather just wait and use that cap space later on this season. Slurpy Sean just quickly said, the guy dropped behind me listening to the show and said, yeah, go ahead, take Taylor. A couple years ago, Taylor was a stud. That's crazy, though. 16-team league. That's fun. I like it. It really tests the knowledge of the average football fan.
Shout out to Doug for calling in.
Yeah.
That's good fun.
That was nice. Good call.
Takes me back to the olden days of radio.
When you used to make the phone calls yourself.
Crank phone.
Because that was like 1 day a week, right?
Yeah.
John Short would take calls.
The kids.
Yeah.
At, like, paradoxically, like 4 a.m, he would take calls from children who'd stayed up late.
Wake up early, stay up late, get on the radio. The way it should be. We'll take a quick break here. When we return, we'll get to 5 questions with Declan Kruger. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Albertans love to debate the best way to enjoy summer sports.
No. Playing on the field is the best, man. No way. Watching from the sidelines, way more relaxing.
You're both crazy. Checking out the game from the bro zone is where it's at. But there's one thing every sports fan agrees on.
Wheelhawk beef jerky.
Wherever you catch the action, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wheelhawk beef jerky. Because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
Smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical Team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day. But you need to make time for this. Ken Franchak here. If you're 40 or over, a quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos. For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
1 in 3 Canadians aren't getting enough sleep. Let the break help you sleep better for less. Save 40% on the Steely Crown Full Resort mattress. Get sheets starting at just $49. And buy one pillow, get the second for just $10. Plus, take up to 55 months to pay with no interest and no money down. And with next day delivery in Edmonton, you can start sleeping better right away. Some conditions apply. OAC. See in store for details. The break. Saving you more.
Ford pricing is back at Nisku Ford. Pay the same as Ford Motor Company employees. Plus, get the benefits of being a Nisku Ford customer. You'll have the best selection of new Ford vehicles from our great lineup of SUVs, Bronco Sports, and Explorers, right up to the Ford Expedition. And Ford trucks from the Ford Maverick, Ranger, F-150, and Super Duty. Ford employee pricing is something to event on the Nisku Ford calendar. But hurry, it won't last forever, and inventory is limited. Take advantage of employee pricing today at Nisku Ford. Expectations.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots. With replaceable soles and heels, fly by cheaper quality. Like Area, Justin, and Red Wing, made in China. Canadian-made is better. Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save on Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard. On the east side of Save on Foods, Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Portion of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass. Clear Choice Residential Windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all residential needs. All 3 glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.445, welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by Alberta.ca. Tonight's Lotto Max estimated $10 million. You got our daily specials. Remember, though, to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Stephen Kruger. Connor, be back with you here in the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Still to come on this show. Mark Spector will join us at the top of the hour. We'll have Alan Mitchell, the host of the Lowdown with Low Tide, as well. But right now, we'll get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. This sleep sale is on now. Save 40% on the Sealy Crown Jewel Resort mattress. Get sheets starting at just $49. Buy one pillow, get a second for $10. Only The Brick and TheBrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Okay, question number 1 today on the Lowdown, my definition for the top 5 biggest questions for the Oilers this season. What are yours?
5 each?
Well, I would think just 1 probably.
Oh,
What's your biggest question?
Biggest.
I think it's just the goaltending. There's so many different storylines that could emerge, especially if someone's going down with an injury early on in the year. It's the most interesting thing to me would be, where's the goaltending at?
If I don't want to take yours, I would think my biggest question is just the new head coach. I mean, we know he has a track record of being a head coach. We also know there's been questions. That's place he wants to even get there. So I assume he's learned from that and things will be better. But when you bring in a head coach, I think that's always going to be a concern, a question, a storyline, which I think it will be, and I think it could be the biggest one because there's huge ramifications with Mike Babcock. Could be big.
Question number 2. Create a trade package for Connor Hellebuyck that you would make if you were Stan Boat.
Well, we need to get probably Tristan Jarry out of there. We got to clear some cap space. So I'm starting with that one. I guess he probably wants a player. And I mean, the Jarry and Skinner you're running this year, I don't know. Young prospect, so it's going to, I think, cost you Ike Howard or Matthew Savoy, one of the two. And then I'm probably looking at a couple firsts. We don't have the one here in 2027. You got 2028 and 2029. Funny enough, that second round pick is what you gave up to get Tristan Jarry in 2029. So you'd be without a first and a second round pick there, but you'd have Connor Hellebuyck. So I guess that would be my initial package. I don't know what they want. Apparently there's been offers, and it hasn't been quite a Shelldale's standards. But I'm thinking a couple players right now and a couple picks. Oilers don't really have any top end prospects up and coming, so I guess that would be it for now. Build from that.
If we lived in an alternate universe where you could get Connor Hellebuyck, Declan, I think the answer is whatever it takes, whatever they would want for Connor and Leon. Who else wouldn't you ever move?
Not moving Hyman.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
I'd move Hyman for Hellebuyck. He's a little older, a little injury prone.
He's the heart of a lion.
Hey, I love Zach Hyman. He can play on my team any day.
Just the one injury in his time here, right?
Yeah, he's also like, you really wouldn't move him for Connor Hellebuyck?
Well, I mean, what else am I having to move? I guess that's the question. He's 34. If they really wanted him, I might throw him in. It maybe, you know what, honestly, it might be just like 3 guys who are untouchable. McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard.
All right, question number 3. What is your favorite bet in the CFL this weekend?
Me?
That's a tough one.
You want me to go first? Well, why not just go with the Jason Gregor Show parlay?
There you go.
PlayAlberta.ca. We've got, and it's called the Weekend of the CFL. Montreal tonight. Give me Hamilton, Toronto, and BC. 4-gamer. Good payout. Huge. I might be due for this one. If I was looking at like individual props, I'd probably just take the BC Lions running back in the over. Wasn't any time touchdown. Is Horvath going to start again for BC?
Yeah.
Horvath. Former Charger. Got to roll with him. Back in the day, I made a couple nice paydays off his anytime touchdowns when he was a rookie. First 2 games in the NFL, scored touchdowns. Long shot both times. How about you, Wanye?
No fooling. Well, that's a tough one. I would just bet on the Elks.
We're on the bye.
Well, then you can't.
Bye week.
Is it bye week?
Yeah.
Then I even step
First
back.
time in 10 weeks?
Well earned.
Yeah.
Bet on nobody of the Elks.
Elks season.
I take a bye week.
Oh, smart. Use your game sense. Take it easy.
That's right.
Question number 4. Do you guys have a I've been on a boxing kick lately. I don't know if you knew this one. I was a boxer for a number of years. But I've been on a boxing kick lately. They say the itch always comes back. So I ask you guys, do you guys have a favorite boxer of all time or a favorite boxing memory?
I like Mike Tyson. I know that can be problematic in some corners. I think the whole sport is problematic if you really want to look at it through a lens of the human experience. But when he went on Joe Rogan and he was all big and fat, and he was like in his cannabis era where he was promoting the cannabis company he owned, and Joe Rogan's like, well, are you ever going to get back to training? Like, do you do any exercise? He's like, no, I can't. I'll get too crazy. Like, it'll reignite the fire in me. And then the next time he came on, he was coming on to promote his fight. And he just looked like an entirely different person. Like, his demeanor was so different. You could really see it. That's a top memory. And then when Tyson came out of jail, his first fight back, all he wore was a white towel. And he came out into the ring and just, like, stared a hole through space and time. Unbelievable.
Wouldn't it be wild if I just said Jake Paul and believed it? Juliana Marjanovic would be up there. We had her brought up last time because we talked about favorite Canadian boxers. She'd be up there. Jack, favorite fights? He wasn't my favorite boxer, but I got engulfed by the situation. I went to Shanks once and watched Manny Pacquiao. And
which fight? Do you remember?
Couldn't tell you.
What year was it? Do you remember what it was? I could probably say the fight.
No, couldn't tell you.
Not even a rough year?
It'd be like between 2007 and 2015.
Okay.
When he fought 14 times. I don't know. I went to Shanks with my buddy Keith, who was a boxing fan, and we watched it. And then we also worked at Save On with a lady, and her family was from the Philippines. And whenever he fought, they'd like rent out a hall and put it on a big screen and have a party. Like that's how big he was. So I think just getting to go watch Manny Pacquiao at the peak of his popularity and what he could do was pretty cool. So I'd say like favorite fight memory is probably that. More so for the experience. I don't have the depth of knowledge that you do, Deck. But before you go to question 5, what was yours, or what is yours?
Well, I think my favorite boxer of all time would probably have to be Sugar Ray Leonard. He was also my dad's favorite. My favorite that I like kind of came onto myself was Errol Spence Jr. And I think my favorite boxing memory, it was either watching the first Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight at the Pine with my friends, because we just had such an amazing time. But it was either that or watching Errol Spence beat Kell Brook to win the IBF welterweight world title in 2017. I watched it by myself on my phone at like my dad's kitchen table and had a blast. So
I watched Conor McGregor at the Pine, that fight where he won in 12 seconds or whatever.
The Jose Aldo fight?
Yeah,
That was
I like
crazy.
literally like, looked up and everyone's celebrating. Like, did I miss it? Yeah, that's how fast it was.
That was a crazy one. Question number 5. Give me your Mount Rushmore of rookie mistakes.
This is a great question today.
Thank you.
Like,
I like it too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
First of all, I'm a big fan of not paying for parking. When I get caught with the amount of stuff I get away with, Declan, it makes it well worth it. Yeah. You'd be amazed how often I just go and run in somewhere and I'm like, I'm not paying for nothing. I think it's a rookie mistake if you're going to be less than 5 minutes paying for parking, personally. I think saying no to a bag at a drive-thru is kind of a rookie mistake. Because you go, you know what? Here's the bag. And oftentimes, they don't even charge you. Thirdly, coat check at the club. You can't tough it out and get into the club without a coat check, or keep your coat on in the club. Come on now. And then the last one, this is the masterpiece of rookie mistakes. Answering spam calls.
That's a great one.
You don't know
That's
that
a
person
great one.
calling you. It's not that girl you hope it is. It's a spam city calling. And if you pick up, the next week of your life is hell.
I like that one. That's a great one.
All right now.
I did not read this question correctly. I thought you meant like rookie mistakes. I'm like, oh, sleeping in is probably like a rookie mistake. You know, not studying your playbook is a rookie mistake. I was thinking totally sports here when you said that one. So I'm kind of going on a freestyling here. Rookie mistakes I've made in the past: when you forget to cancel a free trial, all of a sudden you're stuck with a monthly charge, or even if it's like an annual one. There's a certain thing that I subscribed for, and it locked me up for another year, and it wasn't cheap. So that was one that probably stands to me when I'm making dinner and I forget to take out like the meat to let it defrost. That's probably a tough one for me as well.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, I mean it sucks, you know, being an adult when you do those types of things. I don't know. I don't think mine are as good as Wanye's. Those were kind of top tier picks right there.
Thank you.
Let me have my 2, and I'm going to circle back. Declan, what do you have? Because I think you must have thought about this one.
Yeah, give it a second here. All right, so my first one, drinking on an empty stomach. That's a rookie mistake. Second one, kind of along the same lines, mixing liquors. Bit of a rookie mistake as well. Can't be doing that. Third one, forgetting to put on sunscreen. Rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake.
And then the fourth one, thinking you can get the puck off of Connor McDavid on his own injury.
Oh, no,
That's a
you
rookie
didn't.
mistake. That's a rookie mistake.
Well done, Deck. Thank you.
Another one, I wanted to find a way to add it on there, but I didn't really know how to word it, is like when you're 18 and think you're like, you think you can talk to the hottest girl at the bar. It's like, no, you can't. Don't try. That's a rookie mistake.
Well, what if you don't try? What if you just do try?
I know, you got to go for it. I get that, but you're not going to disagree with me too much on this one.
When I was in my club era, I considered it a point of pride to be turned down. It means I was out there pushing the boundary and saying, hey, gal, how you doing tonight? How's things? If you don't try, you never know, Deck.
Did you have like a problem with that? Because I don't know. I wasn't the most confident in my younger days, so I just feel like, yeah, you know what? I won't even go. Reject them before they reject me. I never had that false sense of confidence
sense, maybe.
Like you just gotta sell this. The biggest thing this comes down to for me is self-awareness. You gotta know. You gotta know.
Know what?
You gotta know that. Like if you're a 7, don't spit game at the 10.
No. Go to the top of the pyramid. Work your way down. That's the advice from Wanye on a Friday afternoon, kids.
Rookie mistakes for me because of like a couple other ones that really bug me. Putting off shoveling and then my wife driving over the snow on the driveway, patting it down. It's not for everyone. Most people don't care. And on the top of like Declan's like not mixing alcohol. If you ever take an edible, some vitamins, and don't have snacks, oof, no, not good. Gotta have the goodie cupboard ready to go.
Rookie mistake.
But I'm thrown off because I had like all my like football and like those type of rookie things and didn't even pick up on that one. And honestly, when I read it, I'm like, that's the best question. But now that I understand it, I'm like, actually, a very good topic. Let us know yours at 1-833-401-1440. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we got Low Tide, we got Spec, we got Wanye's World, and maybe even some more. Keep rolling with the text 1-833-401-1440. Right now, Sports 14 for update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. For the remainder of August, proceeds from every vehicle sold will go towards the Summerland wildfire victims. Get a great vehicle and support a great cause. Only at Northgate.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Breaking news coming out of the NHL. Cale Makar signing a record 8-year deal with the Colorado Avalanche with an AAV of $20.4 million. MLB scores right now, 2 games tied 0-0. Marlins Nats at the bottom of the first and the Dodgers Tigers at the end of the first. Blue Jays will be in action at 5:15, playing host to the Mariners with Dylan Cease on the bump. And one final today saw the Reds over the Cubs 10-8. Ravens currently lead the Commanders 17-0 in the second quarter of their preseason game. Getting going in just a moment's time here. We'll see the Falcons and the Dolphins as well as the Texans and the Panthers. Late game, we'll see the Vikings and the Broncos. WNBA scoreboard around the league. Game set to get going at 5:30 with the Fire and the Dream and the Sun and the Fever. Toronto Tempo in action at 8 o'clock against the Aces, as are the Washington Mystics and the LA Sparks. And CFL Week 13 getting going today. Montreal and Winnipeg, 6:30 p.m. kick for that one at Princess Auto. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Troll down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
This summer, cheer on your favorite teams at Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house with tons of big screens. Plus, Sully's Big League menu has it all. Small bites and big bites, game day food and drink features, something for everyone. From the gridiron to the diamond, this is the place to catch all the action all summer long. Sally's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. If your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Questions of this hour brought to you by 01 Hockeyology, Edmonton's home for elite hockey development, skating analysis, performance assessments, and year-round training in West Edmonton Mall. Elite hockey development at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
By PlayAlberta.ca, the Lotto Max tonight, $10 million tomorrow. We've got the Gold Ball jackpot at $20 million, plus the Jason Gregor Show picks daily boosted. Go check it out. PlayAlberta.ca. We got some NFL, Major League Baseball, and CFL as well. Remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Connor Spivak with you here. 1-833-401-1440. Some text to roll through. We'll get to those in a sec here. There's some good ones coming in here about unpaid or uncanceled subscriptions for certain services.
Rookie mistake.
Got to watch out for that. I've been got a couple times with it. Right now, though, we're going to get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. They're hiring operators, pipelayers, and a superintendent. You can work for a fantastic company that loves to promote from within with great benefits. Also, huge sports fans. Apply at gsconstruction.ca and search careers, as we are joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, happy Friday. How you doing today?
Awesome. Beautiful day. Weekend coming. No Elks game this weekend. Got to just kind of kick back and watch the Blue Jays lose, I guess.
They could win, right? I mean, it's possible, but maybe more than likely not. So you got 2 CFL games as well, which should be good, Spec. But I guess, we've been kind of fortunate back-to-back days. We've had big news breaking in the NHL world. Yesterday, Connor Halley and the big trade request going public. And then today, Cale Makar really cashing in, becoming the first player to get north of $20 million. We also found out that Malcolm Celebrini said he left money on the table. But the deal for Cale Makar, it's been debated on both sides so far on the show today. But, Declan bringing up some good points with the cap going up. It may seem big, but, it's manageable. You can still win with that deal.
Yeah, listen, the cap is, we all understand the parameters of the cap, and we all understand that the best player can make up to 20% of that cap, and no one's done it before. What's this at 17.6 or something?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's listen, I think if you're fortunate enough to have a player like Cale Makar on your team, a top 5 player in the National Hockey League, you should have to pay him. There's going to be, I think a few years from now, there's going to be probably 5 or 6 teams that are all paying somebody the cap, and very close to the cap maximum, because those are the 5 or 6 best players in the league. And if you don't want to keep them, someone else will gladly pay Connor McDavid, Nate McKinnon, Cale Makar, right? Maybe Leon Draisaitl, Kucherov, some other team, they'll pay him if you don't want to pay him.
And it is kind of funny because like you said, it's just going to go up. And in 5 years, we'll probably look at Makar's deal and say, oh, what a steal. Because I'm looking at Evan Bouchard right now at 10.5. That's a steal. There's guys making $12 million. And in comparison, you're like, okay, it's getting worse. So just more and more reason to lock up your young players when you can.
Yeah, right, and less reason for an agent of a young player to sign an 8-year deal.
Yeah,
So sure, this is the push and pull, like, it's awful hard to tell a kid when he's, let's say you sign when you're 18, let's say you're signing your next contract when you're 21, and someone offers you, 8 or 9 million a year. Oh boy, like 8 times 8, that's $64 million. It's awfully hard to tell a kid, don't take all that money, wait and get more later. That's life-changing money. So, sure, the bridge contract, the non-bridge contract, we're always going to have this argument. But what I think we won't argue about anymore is we've seen the last Connor McDavid that didn't take a raise and is making 12.5 for the next 2 years. That we're going to look back on, like, university students will look back on that contract and write thesis papers because it's like the rare gem, right?
Do you think when he comes to time for him to get that next deal, he is
Yes.
max?
Yes. And he should. Like, he absolutely should. He's the best player in the world. He should make the most money of any player. There's absolutely no doubt of that. And I'll tell you this right now, whatever the number, if he comes to Daryl Cates and says, I'll sign with you for a long time and you got to pay me fill in the blank, Daryl will dive across the table to sign Connor McDavid. He is worth so much to this franchise monetarily and other ways, obviously, but that's my feeling is, a year from now, we're going to be talking about should they trade Connor McDavid with 1 year left in his deal. And it'll be a topic of conversation and we'll all have our opinions. But it's my opinion that owner Daryl Cates will never trade Connor McDavid no matter what.
And you're very accurate. I mean, on ice, we all know how valuable he is, but off the ice, I know it became a little bit easier to sell sponsors or acquire sponsors when you have 97 wearing your blue and orange uniform.
Think of people who buy tickets. Certainly as a media guy, I can't tell you how many times I've said to people who say, gee, Spec, you've been covering hockey a long time. Don't you, you must be near retirement. Don't you get sick of going? And my answer is always, I go to the rink every night and I watch Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl play. Like, retire from what? What are you retiring from? Watching the best player in the world and the next guy who's awful close. Like, I could stay home and watch him on TV. Why wouldn't you go to the rink?
Spec, we were actually talking yesterday, just want to sidebar here, about the best athletes we've ever seen in person. So you talk on that, like you watched for the last, 7-8 years here, maybe for 9 years. These two guys go out there every night and play hockey, two of the best athletes, two of the best Oilers we've seen. Who are some of the guys that stand out to you? Like you think back and say, that's really cool that I got a chance to see insert name here play.
Hockey,
any sport.
Well, geez. I mean, I watched Usain Bolt win the 100, 200, and 4x1 in Beijing. I think he was the first guy that did it. That was, never forget that. Obviously I was young enough, like I showed up in the press box with my Gateway press pass, thanks to Bill Tuelli, the press director at the time, back in about 1986. So I got a real eyeful of Messier, Gretzky, Curry, Coffey, Anderson from that perspective. Anyone of our age, my age, who grew up in the city, like, that's the greatest. I'm here to tell you it's the greatest hockey team that ever played. And I think the poll the NHL did called the 85 Oilers the best team ever? I forget which one, but that was pretty cool. I've seen covered a couple World Series, saw Jay-Z and Alicia Keys sing that New York song in Yankee Stadium before World Series one day live. That was unbelievably cool. Interviewed Barry Bonds, got blown off by him. I'll never forget that.
Can you tell that story? Because the Duke.
Oh my God!
But I've never heard it from you.
I've told it a million times. I'll make it short. I'm at Cactus League. I'm going team to team to team. I go one day Cubs, one day Giants, one day Angels, and I wheel into the Giants dressing room clubhouse in the morning, and all the reporters, they're all sick of Barry Bonds, and they're all scared. Not scared, but just he was a weird act and a very hostile man. And I said to some of the beat guys, like, hey, I think Pedro Gomez I was talking to, the late ESPN reporter, I said, what about Barry? Like, who talks to him? They go, good luck. take a stab. So I figured I'm in town for one day, pal. So I wheel up to Barry Bonds' stall, and he's sitting there with his back to me, and he turns around over his shoulder. He looks at me like I'm some kind of a not even human. And he goes, "What do you want?" I go, "Hey, Barry, I'm just in town for a day. Like, you got a little time for me? I like to talk to you, ask you a few questions." And he doesn't answer for about 15 seconds. It seemed like an hour. And then he says, "Where are you from?" No, he goes, "Where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from Edmonton." And he just kind of shakes his head and he says, "Edmonton." And he starts walking away and he goes, "Edmonton. Man, Edmonton." And he walked into the showers. That's the last I saw of him. Like, how a guy from Edmonton would deign to ask Barry Bonds a question. So he was a sour old bugger. I didn't like him much, but that's okay. I was in a big group.
That you could tell that story, and I think that's one of the guys where everyone would say, "Yeah, that sounds about right." Like, no one's gonna call BS on that story. It sounds 100% accurate. So on the flip side, who's the nicest athlete you've got a chance to catch up with?
Oh, geez, a lot of them. I remember talking to Larry Walker at another Cactus League stop in like the 4th inning. They pulled him out of the game, and back then, I was the only Canadian guy there, and he's the only Canadian player, and the PR staff for Colorado said, "Just go down to the clubhouse and talk to him." So I went down the 4th inning and talked to him for like a half an hour, just me and him in a stall. And he was just the nicest. Once he found out I was from Canada, he just like, "Pull up a chair, son." He was awesome. Oh my God, there's so many. Al Iafrate is one of my favorites ever. I mean, there's been so many good guys out there. Dougie Wade, Bill Guerin, Mike Modano, all those old Dallas Stars. Brett Hull had a great relationship with it. Whole bunch of guys, but Al Iafrate was awesome. I'll bore you with another story I've told a few times. I remember going in and talk to Al Iafrate in the visiting dressing room after a practice. And you walk up to him and you go, "Hey, Al, Mark Spector, do you have a minute?" And he says, "Meet me at the stick bench." And for you kids out there, in the old days when they had wooden sticks, they had a stick bench. And on the stick bench was files and saws and a blowtorch so you could curve your own stick. And guys had to work on their sticks. They didn't just come from the factory, right? The way they do now. So you go to the stick bench, you stand there for 5 minutes, and out comes Al Iafrate. And he's got a cigarette behind his ear, and he's got another cigarette in his hand. And he hops up on the stick bench, like he sits on it, wearing a towel and nothing else. He sits on the stick bench, and he pulls out the blowtorch, and he lights a smoke right there in the old Coliseum. And he says, "Hey, what do you got?" And you had like 2 smokes worth of Al Iafrate, and he was one of the better quotes in the game. So those days are long gone, I would say. But those were fun days, man. Back then, I mean, they say Sergei Zubov used to smoke like crazy he was a terrible interview because he hated speaking to reporters, but he was a pretty nice guy. I don't know, something about guys having a cigarette that just loosened them up, Connor. Don't get that anymore. I just can't imagine. We all saw that picture of Leon Draisaitl having a smoke at a wedding, but can you imagine him sitting in the stall having a smoke after the game? Like, they used to do that.
I think that would be incredible. Like, smoke in your face, like, ugh. Yeah, that would be something. I mean, I heard the stories of the older days where Elks or Eskimos linemen would have a beer or two after the game, and you could go sit down and catch up. Like,
oh yeah,
to me, that's probably where you're obviously going to get your best stuff. A little casual, the beer wouldn't hurt or anything like that. Not like that's having a huge impact on those 300-pound beasts. But those days seemingly more gone. It seems like the players are a little more guarded, and not just that, but the communication staff as well.
Yeah, everything. It's just a different time. I don't want to come across as the old guy telling you it was always better back in the day, because there's a lot of things that are better about now, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of athletes who, like Wayne Gretzky would do his interview with all the cameras, and then the cameras would bugger off, and there would be like 3 or 4 writers, because there wasn't 20 writers back then. There was just 2 or 3 or 4 guys. And then he'd sit down in his stall and he'd open a beer, and then you'd do the writer's interview, and it was so loose, and it wasn't on camera. And if he misspoke, he just said, no, scratch that. Here's what I meant to say. And nobody printed the thing that he didn't mean to say. You know what I'm telling you? It was
Yeah.
just loose and non-threatening for athletes. Today's athlete, I understand why they're more on guard, because there's more ways they can get burnt, you know? So it's still a great job, and it's still fun to get to know these guys. And if you do it right, you can still have some good interviews and some in-depth stuff and get to know players. You can still do it. You just can't do it the same way as you did back in 1990. That's all.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw that most recently. It was at like Leon Draisaitl just recently, where he talked about the new coach and being coached, and people are just taking the like 4 words from the entire quote, putting it as their headline just to get clicks. And
Oh
yeah,
my God.
I understand why athletes are like, okay, this is not what I want to happen. The older days, like you mentioned, to just say, no, that's not what I meant. That came out wrong, and you can correct it. I mean, that's just how it should be, right?
Oh my God. I mean, sure. And you respected that. And if you did that for a player, then they trusted you and gave you way better stuff. And, now, I mean, sure, I know that happens to players all the time. Hell, it happens to us in the media. It happens to me, right? I ask a question, and Spit and Chicklets doesn't show the answer. They show the guy for about a half a second, and it looks like he blew me off, when in fact, the guy gave me an excellent answer to my question. But when it goes on the internet, it's like, aha, that guy blew Speck off, didn't even give an answer. And that's someone in the media screwing someone in the media, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's, in today's world, I mean, maybe we're going on too long here, but like now it's not just the guy that's on question, the athlete, or that's on camera. I and you, as the reporter asking the question, we're on camera too, right? They're recording our question just as much as they're recording Connor McDavid's answer. And like, I get it. That's reality. And I'm living with it, because I don't frankly have a choice, but I don't think any of us signed up to be the story. We all signed up to ask the questions and be the journalists. But now there's a lot of days when, you can be the story if things don't go your way. It's happened to me, and it's not what I signed up for. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it how many times where you can tell that a writer is asking a question because they're doing a story on something.
Yeah.
And the comments will be like, what a terrible question. Well, wait till you see the article and how irrelevant it is to the article. It's going to make more sense. But, that's a topic for a whole other story.
It is. I can go on at length if you want to talk about that stuff. Believe me.
We'll wrap it up with one more Oilers questions, because today on the Lowdown with Low Tide, Declan Nations was looking at the top 5 questions for the Oilers season. So we won't ask you for 5, but Wanye had the goalies, I had the coaching staff. What is your biggest question for the Oilers this season?
My biggest question for the Oilers is if they can, to me, certainly last season and at times the season before, to me, it's their ability to play a proper defensive game of hockey. Like I know it's no fun watching defense. I'm the first guy to say it. I don't want 2-1 hockey that often. But I'll tell you what, the goaltenders in this town have been hung out to dry historically. I mean, I'm going back to Grant Fuhr, but certainly in the last few years, they've been hung out to dry. Like Tristan Jarry comes here. And remember that game against Minnesota where he let in like 7 and basically said after the game, how am I supposed to play behind this? Right? And he was right. Like, he was right. How are you supposed to play behind that? So it's absolutely a sure opinion for me. If this team doesn't really lock itself down defensively and quit having the kinds of mistakes that we've watched for years, they will not win a Stanley Cup. So to me, that's what I'm watching for. Will the defensive environment allow a goalie to be good here in Edmonton? Because frankly, I don't think there's been a goalie with a chance in hell since Stu Skinner to be really good. I really don't think so, because I think this team lets them down defensively.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see, what Skinner looks like with the Jets next year, especially.
Oh boy, that's a whole new deal now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see. I think one common thing with Stuart Skinner, like 99% of Oilers fans are rooting for him. I could be off, but I think a lot of people are hoping for the best for him. Well, Speck, thanks for doing this. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk on Monday.
All right, sounds good.
There you go. Mark Spector, Rogers Sportsnet, comes every day here on the Gregor Show around 5. No, I just we earlier on with the friends, we had some tickets to the Super Nationals down at Radtork, the Dirt Super Nationals. 8 tickets tonight, 8 tomorrow. A couple of people won, couldn't go. So if you want to go to Radtork Raceway tonight or tomorrow, tell me which day. Send me a text with your email. I can send them along. 8 skybox seats. You ever been in a skybox, Wanye?
Yes.
Oh, so you know it's pretty cool.
It's super cool.
Well, if you want to go, text us 1-833-401-1440. Compliments of Daryl. We'll take a break when we come back. It is the Lowdown with Lowtide. Wait, yeah, the host of the Lowdown with Lowtide. I'm too locked into this dirt super race. Look at this thing. I want to go. Oof. I want to go now. Maybe I should keep it. Coming up next, Lowdown with Lowtide, host Alan Mitchell. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
This is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Favorite us right now.
Powered by PlayAlberta.ca. If you gamble, use your game sense. Learn more at gamesense.ab.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
and with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The Chicken Parmy Burger. McExtreme pulled pork, garlic and black pepper chicken McNuggets, cheesy bacon McFlavor fries, and the Stroop Waffle McFlurry. You've scrolled them. You've screenshotted them. You've never been able to order them until now. This is the McDonald's World Menu Heist. The most wanted menu items taken from around the world, now in Canada. Get them while you can. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your fix. Edmonton's home for sports. It's Sports 1440.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
1 in 3 Canadians aren't getting enough sleep. Let the brick help you sleep better. Let's save 40% on the Simi Crown Jewel Resort mattress. Get cheap starting at just $49. And buy one pillow, get the second one for just $10. Plus, pick up to 55 months to pay with no interest and no money down. And with next day delivery in Edmonton, you can start sleeping better right away. Some conditions apply. OAC. See in-store for details. The brick. Saving you more.
Plan for success in 2027 with help from the Co-op Pro team. With the latest on-farm technology, our agronomists will work with you to gather and interpret soil samples, analyze data, and gain more insight into your fields. We offer local expertise and trusted advice to help you plan your inputs and prepare for the unexpected. Get ready to make data-driven decisions with Co-op Ag Zone Field. Make a successful 2027 crop plan to meet your field's potential. Talk to your Co-op Pro team today.
Hi, thinking about switching vehicles? Think Subaru. The Subaru Crosstrek was named the 2026 Auto Trader Best of Compact SUV, and once you drive it, you'll understand why. With impressive fuel efficiency, legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, and generous ground clearance, the Crosstrek is ready for your Monday commute and your Saturday adventure. This month, take advantage of oil rates as low as 0.49%. So, before you decide your next SUV, come experience Crosstrek for yourself. Visit your local Subaru dealership today. Welcome to Common.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sugar Clicker, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world, plus a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. SugarLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
By PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Bottom tonight, an estimated $10 million and get your ticket. PlayAlberta.ca. And remember the Jason Gregor Show specials every weekday here. Some over the weekend as well, actually. The CFL one, we got one over the weekend. We got the Blue Jay way, just praying for the Jays to win and a Vlad home run. It could happen, right, Wanye?
It could happen.
You gotta believe.
As a non-high frequency Blue Jays newsreader, what is going on with Vladdy? Can you explain it to me like in 5?
Having a hard time with the plate.
But this isn't even in like the realm of possibilities, is it? Normally when you're looking at Vladimir Jr.?
He's had some ups and downs in his career.
No, I'm good.
He's got a case of the yips. How's that?
Does he?
You might as well just say that. I don't know if the yips usually last this long, though. They got Callan for a year. He hasn't hit a home run in Toronto in the regular season.
Have you ever seen Tin Cup featuring Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Remember when he got the yips? And he said, take everything out of your right pocket, put it in your left. Tie and untie your shoe. Has anyone tried this? Or does Vladdy have $480 million a week coming into his bag account and he's distracted?
Well, that probably doesn't hurt, does it? I don't know. I've quoted it a few times, but like Pete Rose had a really good line, like when you're struggling, like don't change your swing. That's what got you there. Move up, move back, get closer to the plate, step away. But your swing's what got you there. So I don't know. Hopefully the Jays just get going here and then find a way into the playoffs, and then all of a sudden Vlad just reemerges as the guy we saw last year in the postseason. We're hoping. We think that'd be fun. It'd be fun to see the Jays go on another bit of a run here. At least getting into the postseason would be cool. Just quickly here, we did give away those tickets, so just want to give a quick shout out to Gene. He's got the ticket for tomorrow, and Bill, I'm just about to send you the tickets for today. So thank you to everyone who texted in for the Skybox passes. 8 of them. What a price from Daryl, actually. Unfortunately, we've given the tickets away already. Right now, speaking of prize, I'm going to be joined by Alan Mitchell, the host of the Down with Low Tide, Monday through Friday here on Sports 1440 from noon to 2. LT, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good. Vladdy Guerrero's problem is he's pounding the ball into the ground. He's got the same basic swing as Junior Caminero, who has 35 home runs this year. And, I think it might be a slight, as you said, Connor, maybe a slight open up his stance a little bit, but he's in his brain right now. Fernando Tatis, the Padres, had the same problem earlier in the year. And then he adjusted his stance, opened it up a little bit to face the pitcher a little more, saw the ball better, and now he's hitting normally. But it's so frustrating because that they could still win this darn thing. I mean, get into the postseason as a second wild card. But he's killing worms. Like every time he's at the plate, he pounds it into the ground, and that means that he's not swinging under it enough. And ordinarily, when he's hitting well, he doesn't off it, but he gets line drives. He's just not in a good zone right now.
LT, you broke it down from a baseball perspective. I'm wondering, do you have any like home remedy suggestions for Vladdy Guerrero Jr.? Like some sort of new secret amulet?
Well, Mark Grace, the former Chicago Cubs first baseman, had a slump busting routine whenever he was in a slump, but I can't tell you what it was. It just involved being on the road and leaving his room at night on his off days and doing something. But that was his slump buster idea. He needed to go out and have a good time.
I see. Can Vladdy do that, or is he like such an iconic person? Can he even be anonymous while around these days?
It's a great question. I don't think he can. I mean, he's such a larger than life presence, right? Like I love him, because he loves the game. He loves, Toronto. He's got a heart as big outdoors, just like Kelly Buckberger back in the day. And he wants to win so badly, and because of that, I think most of us just really cheer for him. But I mean, he's having a terrible year, and when they were booing him last night, I felt really bad for him.
Well, that kind of comes with it when you get that big payday. Expectations are raised. 8 home runs in the postseason last year, 7 this year. Like,
it's crazy.
Well,
it is.
We've seen it before. How do you like their odds here, LT? Obviously, they got to start winning games here down the stretch, and I think the Jays fans had kind of that fear deep down. Like, we've seen them play well against the good teams, but that's not necessarily the concern. You got to beat the teams you should beat as well. You're done with the Mariners. The Royals are playing really good baseball. You got the Mariners up next. Jays, I believe, currently trailing 1-0 in the first, so that's not great. But how are you feeling about this team down the stretch?
They're screwed. They just are. I mean, there's no other way to say it. They don't have the bats going. They're, McAdoo and a couple of other guys have come up and given them a lift. Their pitching is, when the good pitchers are pitching, they're fine. But they picked up Lorenzen tonight. Diaz ate Semi was Richardson today. They're doing all the things that a team that is desperate for help does, and there are teams that are in that race right now, like the Cleveland Guardians. They're coming around. Jose Ramirez is back playing every day. He's not where he will be and should be, but he's getting there. And unless Vladdy can absolutely discover his stroke like right away, and the starting pitcher can hang out for like five starters doing well. Like Cease does well. Soriano's good, but they don't have 5 guys, and they're using their bullpen a lot. They have a look at a team that's going to finish 6 games out, and this won't be a story week for them.
Alan Mitchell, host of the Lowdown Flow Tide, joining us here on Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz sitting in. LT, I'm sure you saw the news. McCarr cashing in 8 years, $163.2 million. The NHL starting to catch up to these other pro leagues, and Cale McCarr, I think, just one of many future guys to be making at least $20 million per season. Do you like this deal?
It's a great deal. McCarr's worth that. He's worth every penny, worth more, probably. But from an Oilers point of view, it just shows you the next time you're mad at Connor McDavid, remember the guy took about $10 million less than he should have if he was going to go market value. So McCarr just deserves the money. Nobody should be upset or saying these guys make too much money. It's what the market will bear, and he's worth it. He just is. If he went to the free market, he'd probably get more. But for me, every time I see these, I just shake my head. And you will find people who think Connor McDavid's overpaid. In relative terms, his contract is probably, and I'm not even lying, probably the biggest bargain in the business.
I think you probably got a good point there. I mean, and now the Avalanche have some pretty nice bargains on their team as well. Like Nathan McKinnon at $12 million. Looking pretty good for the next 4 or 5 years, whatever it is. Now, here's a question for you, Holly. You got to take out your crystal ball here, and we're going to fast forward to 2029. Evan Bouchard is an unrestricted free agent. How much do you have to pay him to keep him in Edmonton?
Oh, God. I mean, 14, I don't know, something like that. He won't get 20. I don't think. Who knows what it'll be by then? But I think he'll get by then. Somebody will, have been. There'll be a 20, there'll be a 17, there'll be a 16, and I think he's one of the top, defensemen in the league from a puck moving point of view. So maybe it's more than that, but I'll say 14 because my mind will blow if I say any higher.
And I think at that point it might even be a pretty good deal for the team. Of the Oilers, LT, who is facing the most pressure this season?
Well, I think Tristan Jarry, Jake Wallman. I think that I think a player like Isaac Howard has a lot of pressure on him. He's not in a great spot because the coach that not only last year in Chris Knobloch is no longer here. And Mike Babcock, Babcock will play young players, but he wants a very specific style from the player. He wants aggressive forecheck. He wants responsible play. When it comes along the wall in the defensive zone, you need to be there, and you need to effectively move the puck out. Those are all things that Savoy does well, and like Nicholson does well. But Howard played college hockey, and he's more of a scorer. So there's some things he's going to have to learn on the job. And hopefully that puck, puts him on his wing and puts him on a line of drive. Who's the rookie young player whisperer. But I think Howard is, Howard, Jari, and Wallman for me would be the players I'd
Alan Mitchell, host of the Lowdown Football, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley and Wanye Gretz sitting in. So, LT, one of the topics that's been brought up a little bit this week, and going into last week as well, was PTOs potentially for the Edmonton Oilers. I don't need names, but do you think there's a position that they might take a look?
Oh, yeah, right-handed center. I think Curtis Lazar, who knows, he may already have a destination, just hasn't been announced yet. But he's a right-handed center who can penalty kill. And especially now with Savoy, who penalty kills and did take a face-off or two last year. With him being on for a while, I think a guy like Lazar would be a no-brainer right-handed center. After that, everybody was talking to Tarasenko, and maybe that would be the way to go. But I think invested in Howard, you'd like to see where he's going. I think a guy like Lazar would be my pick, and maybe if there's an opportunity to make a trade here for a right-handed center who's maybe somebody you like a little more, sure, why not do that? But I think Lazar's the guy that I'd bet to count.
LT, what are you watching this weekend? We got the CFL, we got Major League Baseball, NFL preseason for those who might want to dabble. Where are you sitting down for Ryan, Ginger, and watching?
Well, I always watch the CFL. I don't watch all the games every game because I got two dogs and two cats and I'm running around chasing them. But I'll watch the CFL. I'll watch the Jays until they're down 5-0, and then I have to give up. And then I'll just Jared usually likes to watch a Dracula movie, so we'll watch that too. And then I got some other things to do, but I'll definitely watch a lot of baseball and CFL for sure. I will check in on the NFL. This is when the cuts happen, right? Like right around here. And I'll be looking for players that they don't want Declan Saskatchewan Roughriders to sign as receivers. They've got a terrible receiving room now because they're all hurt. So I think that those are players that maybe end up coming to the CFL after these cuts. And I imagine the Elks will be looking at a few players too.
Well, it's going to be happening 4 o'clock on Sunday. LT, that's the deadline for NFL roster cuts. So 90 players to 53. And you got practice squads. There's going to be a lot of young men looking for jobs.
Yeah, and the Chargers already have 16 injuries, so they'll be missing out some free agents.
I don't want to jinx it. There's only been one big injury for the Chargers. That feels like a win. They'll probably have like 4 injuries in week 1, but for camp, that's a success. LT, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you on Monday.
All right, guys, have a great weekend.
There you go. Alan Nickel, the host of the Lowdown Football from noon to 2 here on Sports 1440. Yeah, kind of snuck up on you. I was like, okay, the guys are going to play some games tomorrow, and then all of a sudden the NFL's making those cuts. I think the Browns already released 12 players, so move on, and I'm curious. Obviously, there will be some trickle down. Some guys will obviously make that jump to the CFL. A lot of guys ending up on practice rosters. We've heard the stories. We talked about it with Joe Blanco earlier on this week. We might have a spot for you, hang around, and then potentially even you could start for us next week. It's crazy. It's a crazy life for these guys in the NFL, and it'd be tough way to go. But hey, that's the life of a professional football player. You can always come up here. You got the USFL, the XFL merger there, arena. You can go play in Europe or Mexico. The jobs are out there if you'll go find them. Andrew says, I guess Leon will go down in the NHL history as the guy who signs for a long-term right before this happens. 7 more years of Leon at 14. Wow. Unfortunate timing, I suppose, for Leon. He's still doing okay, though. $14 million through the 2031 season. 2033, sorry. Yeah, he'll be okay. But to your point, yes, you'd much rather sign for closer to 20 million. Still good money. Good job if you can get it. We'll take our last break here. When we come back, more text. We'll get to Wanye's World. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wow. For Selly hockey fans, your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
2006, we saw the launch of Twitter. JT was #1 with Sexy Back, and the corner of Jasper Ave and 118th was never the same.
On the Rocks, celebrate 20 years of OTR.
Friday, September 18th.
With Whale and the Wolf. Whale and the Wolf.
20 years of music and memories.
20 years of On the Rocks.
Friday, September 18th. Get in early. Jasper Ave and 118th.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details or stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Early mornings just got louder. For the hottest takes and the sports stories that actually matter to Edmonton, you need Tom Gazzola. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440 at 833-401-1440.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers. The next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Ford employee pricing is on now. And you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Professional golf is coming to Blackhawk Golf Club this fall. The ATV Classic presented by Building Trades of Alberta brings the stars of PGA Tour Americas to you. Enjoy the ATV Fan Zone presented by Michelob Ultra, where golf meets festival vibes. Upgrade to VIP covered terrace seating with premium food and beverage options. September 17th to 20th. Tickets start at just $25, and the first 250 buyers receive a PGA Tour America's commemorative gift. Get yours at atvclassic.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantor. Made in Canada, made for Canada. Where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at Cantor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where all revenue goes to the province. Play Alberta's Lotto Max tonight. $10 million on Saturday. You got the gold ball jackpot, $20 million. You can also, of course, get in on our daily specials. PlayAlberta.ca. Use your game sense when you do that. Team Dean says, guys, how many bargain contracts do the Oilers have? I got 6. McDavid, Dry, Hyman, Nuge, Bouchard, Pods. Nuge at 5, Dickinson at 4, Trent Frederick at 3.85, Colton Dock at 1.2. I mean, if you just look at cheap, I guess there's potential. Like if Isaac Howard is a good year, under $1 million, that'd be okay. Matt Savoy's 886. He's under $1 million, so that could be a value. Not for long though. If it becomes too good of a value, then they're just going to get paid. So yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good list. What else do we got here? We had some best athletes you saw in person. Pete said, I saw Vlad Guerrero when he was with the Angels, hit a moonshot, was sick. Vlad Sr., he would just hit the ball from anywhere. 10, Ken's got Warren Moon, Gretzky, Giz, Nigel Mansell, Canelo. Good list there. Wanye. Let's get to Wanye's world. We've got all our reads in, so the floor is yours.
You
What's
got
going
your
on?
homework done early.
Yeah.
Wow. I just want to talk about the Elks because it's been a long time that people were this pumped about an Elks team going into September. And with the bye week that earlier I did not know was occurring, the storyline isn't going to change much the next week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you thinking is a reasonable outlook for the team?
Probably, I mean, why not Grey Cup? Why not? Like, is there a situation where they can't beat either Saskatchewan, Calgary, Winnipeg, BC? You know, if they were to get that first round bye in home field, like, why not? Like, I think we'd be trending in that direction the way they've played. They're coming together on defense a little bit better now. That, you know, Cody Fajardo has shown what he can do. I think that would be a fair expectation. Now, if the wheels fall off and they lose a few more games, then those expectations obviously change. If they, you know, have to go on the road in the Western Conference Final or don't get to host a game at all, then things might change. But right now, I think that the expectations would be pretty high. We're 9 days away from football again. They'll report back to practice over the weekend here and get back to it. But the offensive line is held up. I mean, you're going to get Coulter Wood-Manzi back at some point. That's going to be a nice addition. You can run the football. And I think one of the nicer things is they've just continued to show that willingness to run the football, even if it's not, you know, working. Keep trying. Don't give up on the run game. Justin Rankin can bust those big ones. A little more creativity at times might be needed. But the defensive side of the football, they've been great. And they're just becoming more and more cohesive. I think that secondary, you're seeing guys get chances and opportunities and make plays. So I don't think it'd be crazy, you know, if they continue to hold off these teams and stay in the top spot in the Western Conference. Like, why not a Grey Cup experience? You might say it's a young team and they're still learning, but Cody Fajardo's been there. That's your leader right there. He's won a Grey Cup. Like, why not?
What an incredible turnaround, if that's the case.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it won't be easy though, like, because as we've stated a few times, like, especially this week. So the Edmonton Elks right now 7-3, top spot in the Western Division. All the other Western teams are in action, and you know, for some teams it'd be tougher than others. But Winnipeg with a win would be 6-5, right? So they're kind of right back in the hunt, just a couple games back. Calgary 4-6, so they really need this win actually tomorrow afternoon. Saskatchewan with a win is 7-4. They're just one game back, and then Ottawa takes on BC. BC with a win 6-5, just a couple games back. And I would say, like, for the most part, the Elks' toughest part of the schedule has kind of come and gone. Like, they played Montreal twice. You had the 2 games against the Rough Riders, so you've got those mostly out of the way. But all these other teams, like, you can't sleep on them. BC is kind of woken up. Curtis Rourke is playing better ball. They're running the football, it seems like, at will at times. So I don't know. Like, you're encouraged. I'm happy by what we've seen from this team, but they can't sit back and take it easy. Like, it's just too competitive for the time being to take your foot off the pedal. And they know that, right? Like, they're being coached up the right way. They understand that. But I think that game going to last Friday, coming back and winning against Winnipeg was absolutely massive. Like, just to go into your buyout with a loss and then all of a sudden you're 7-4, teams are getting a little bit closer. Just coming back to it in that fashion, I think, is a huge confidence builder for them.
Now, you're on the road. When the Elks are on the road, you're on the road at the Elks parties.
Yeah.
How are the vibes? Sky high?
Oh, they're awesome.
The Elks faithful that have stuck with this team through thick and thin must be rounding the corner into thinking these guys are legit.
Well, yeah, I think so. And I mean, the vibes were always pretty good because the faithful would show up even when they're losing. You know, it'd be tough because the game might be over at halftime, and we're just like, well, have some Coors Light watch party, have a beer. You know, you're kind of pumping that in. It's a good thing. But yeah, I really noticed it at first round. It was that Rough Riders game when they won. Like, it was so close and it was such a good football game. And there was chants breaking out. Guys are doing first down signal every time there's a first down. Everyone was on the edge of their seat, and then to come away with the win, like people were coming up to me afterwards, high fiving. Like it's there. The people want to come out and watch these things. They're always a good time because we'll drink specials, food specials, but also giveaways, things like that. But those were always kind of good.
I love a good first down.
It's fun to do it.
It's great.
We had a guy that sat in front of us every Elks game, Eskimos game back in the day. Every single first down, stand up, do the point.
You got to.
Would you do anything cooler if you were a football player?
Like a gizmo flip?
Well, no. Like some guys are doing differently. They're putting like the two hands up, and then the NFL's like, you can't do that. Kind of looks like guns, so they have to readjust what they're doing.
Go for a Macarena or maybe like a Gangnam style.
You could do
Gangnam
that.
style.
But eventually you have to just do the point.
My fear would be the retribution from the other team.
Well, if you're a receiver, you catch a first down, you're allowed to do it because if you don't catch it, the DB is going to do the whole strapped thing, all that.
What would you do?
I'd be subtle, I think.
It's like a shh.
Just a quick point.
Can you say shh anymore?
I think so.
Didn't people get fined for like basically everything?
Well, there was a lot of stuff. You couldn't stand over a guy for a while after a big hit or anything like that. You couldn't spike the ball in their direction. That was a little soft. But yeah, I think I'd be kind of subtle with it. Just a little one. Not even like two fingers, just one finger gun point. Keep it moving. Deck, what's your first down call? Two hands over the shoulder, bow and arrow maybe?
I think, like, if I'm a receiver,
Yeah.
I think it's just a classic one of these.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Give it two hands. Ah,
But
that's
I
a
always
pretty cool
think like a DB. Put the seatbelt on.
That's
buckle up.
Strapped. 10 balls 10 yards overthrown. You're celebrating. That might be one of the best things in sport. I can't wait to have like the ball be nowhere near the receiver and then Tarheeb still for the Chargers celebrate because he put him on lock. It's like, okay, we'll celebrate it.
Can you think of any huge celebrations that spring to mind for football that got you amped? Doesn't be your favorite, just a gooder.
Oh, man. I mean, back in the day, the CFL, all the receivers would get in the end zone and do something fun, like ride the sled or play duck, duck, goose or hacky sack. Those were always the best.
Jermaine Copeland led the way with those. He was great.
Good times.
Nick Lewis, always good. Yeah, bobsled, the bicycle. They had some good ones. Well, Wanye, it was fun.
Pleasure.
See you next week. Thanks for coming in.
You betcha, boys.
Connor Spivak, intern, done here. Thank you. Appreciate all your contributions. Declan Kruger, you as well. Big thank you to all of our guests. Sean Reynolds, Matt Barrett, Wanye Gretz, Brian Dietero, Mark Spector, and Alan Mitchell. Up next, Blue Jays Baseball on the AM dial. Fox Sports Radio, if you're streaming, welcome to a Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
News out of the NHL world. Cale Makar signing a record-breaking 8-year deal with the Colorado Avalanche with an AAV of $20.4 million. Right now in the MLB, the Toronto Blue Jays lead the Mariners 3-1 at the top of the third. Brewers lead the Rangers 1-0 in the bottom of the first. Braves lead the Rockies 2-0 in the bottom of the second, and 3 games tied 0-0. Astros, Mets, Royals, Guards, and Red Sox, Yankees. One final today saw the Reds beat the Cubs 10-8. NFL games going on right now in the preseason. Ravens lead the Commanders 24-0 in the third quarter. Falcons lead the Dolphins 7-3 in the second, and 2 games tied 0-0. Texans and Panthers in the second quarter, as well as the Bucks and Jags in the first. And the only other game in the league right now sees the Jets leading the Giants 6-0 in the first quarter. WNBA scores: the Fire lead the Dream 28-18 at the end of the first quarter, while the Sun lead the Fever 28-16 with just under a minute to go in the first. Week 13 of the CFL will get going in about half an hour's time between the Montreal Alouettes and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at Princess Auto Stadium. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440,
A Stingray radio station.